Ooh, got a little overzealous with the volume there. It's all right. Welcome back, everybody, and thanks for joining us. This is the Graybeard Podcast, and I am Jim, and I am happy today that I have my friend Ryan back with me. We're going to catch up, and we're going to talk about AI and everything that's been going on in his life and everything like that, and whatever else we talk about. But everybody say hello to Ryan Newhouser.
What's up, guys? Hello, hello, hello.
Oh, there it is. She did it.
I heard
She's getting better with that.
It's quite a crowd, too.
Yeah, there's like 5 people for sure. They could do better, I think, with the audio. Anyways, man, we just had a nice little conversation before this, and chatted about some life things. But congratulations on getting married. Yeah, he's off the market, ladies. Forget about it.
Thanks, man. I appreciate
Absolutely. How has married life been? Pretty much like every other day life, but now you got a piece of paper.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
It's a big commitment, though. It is. It's a huge thing.
It is, but we've been enjoying it. It's been lots of life changes as well with the marriage and everything. So
yeah.
It's been good, man. Thank you.
Good. I don't know. I was happy to see that for you, man. It's always nice to see people happy together.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean.
It was great, and the marriage was awesome. Our daughter Keely just couldn't stop crying the entire time.
Aww.
So it was awesome. It was just good all around.
Good feelings all over the place.
Oh yeah,
we love that.
Oh yeah.
So how has life been?
Life's been good. Lots of changes.
I see that.
I feel like probably in the middle of a factory reset, but it feels really good. It's a lot of what has been happening just makes me want to share that, life isn't just a straight line.
Right.
You can rebuild and reinvent yourself. And especially in the world where everybody's trying to, the pressure to make your hobby a passion and, thrive off of it. So, I just got a lot, big time burnt out on the creative stuff. Like I know burnout is almost like a trigger word at this point, but it was almost like a nervous system, deep level burnout. That I had to honor and just let myself reinvent myself and go from zero. So that's kind of what happened.
Yeah, the crash out is real, and I think a lot of people are dealing with that right now. I mean, with everything that's going on in the world, the economy and you name it, it's all a little bit unnerving. And then with businesses and jobs and trying to be your own entrepreneur, trying to be your own business person. Like I said, I mean, I'm sure it's got to be nerve wracking. And, if you don't have to deal with all of that, then don't,
And I just built my identity so much around this solo creative hustler that can essentially survive and make a living off of just being creative with the illustrations and everything that I was doing. But it got to the point where I had to realize, like, man, is this really something I need to keep continuing? Because I just started to fall out of love with creating. I had to be honest with myself about that. It just kind of really felt like a job. And the environment I was in, like, it's almost like a lot of people's dream scenarios, maybe, like they get to work from home, like they have no boss, you're your own boss. But with that comes like a lot of loneliness. Even though, of course, married, have people around me, but whenever you are working from home in that situation, you're spending like at least 8 to 10 hours a day by yourself. And when I'm my own boss and trying to push through things and trying to reinvent myself in the middle of also, funds being low, trying to find work, it's like the least creative atmosphere you could ever imagine. And I have to perform in such a creative way, either whether it be making a social media video, a project I was working on. So a lot of the stress compounded in a way that I could only describe with people I've talked about it with is like being like a deer that's being chased by a bear. And like you finally go up a mountain and hide in this meadow, then you're just like, all right, finally got here. And then all of a sudden a stick cracks and it's that bear and he's like chasing you again. And you got to find another mountain and another meadow to kind of find some peace and relax at. And it just got to the point where I felt like I was this deer who was just running from the bear constantly, because when I started House a Creative, it wasn't like I had saved up a nest egg or like had anything planned. I had gotten fired from my job. I got let go. I got a severance pay, but I was just like, well, I guess this little thing I've been moonlighting is gonna, I'm gonna commit full time to it. And it was a great ride. I think it was like 8 years of just amazing work. I'm still doing it, but now I'm starting to say no to jobs because I have the leverage of a full-time position, and it's allowing me to find what made me want to get into this in the beginning, like to create, enjoy the process, and to create things that I want to see, and not necessarily like solving other people's visual problems, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. I mean, I can kind of empathize a little bit. When I was trying to be a full-time, I was pushing real hard for a while to be a full-time photographer, and it's hard.
Yeah,
it's really hard because you have to, like you said, you have your own vision and creativity, and it's like in the beginning you kind of you have to put that on hold. Like, I know I like to do my thing this way, and then everybody else wants you to do their thing their way. And it's like, well, okay, I know I can do it, but it's not going to be fun. I'm not going to enjoy it, but it'll be a job and it'll get done. And along the way, you kind of lose a little bit of love for it. And then you kind of look at that thing over there that's starting to turn brown and wilt, and you're like, I love that though,
Yes, yeah, and it's not that. I mean, I certainly love all the jobs and all the people that I've gotten to work with and who have helped me get to this point of like understanding myself as a professional creative by helping them solve their own problems. But I think everybody has a season, and I had to honor that season. It was almost like, if I stayed there too long, I could only imagine, like what's the saying? You do the same thing over and over again. That's insanity.
Mm-hmm.
Probably botched it, but you know what I mean.
That's pretty close.
Yeah. So that's what I felt like I was doing, and it honestly got to the point where I was just like, like, God, take the wheel, because I've been driving this bus in a circle. Just whatever. I'm gonna go find a job, and I just drove out. First place I stopped in was Jiffy Lube. They were actually was one of the guys' last day that day. The district manager was in there, and they hired me on the spot.
Wow.
And I was just like, well, I guess I can't say no, even though when they told me the hourly rate, I literally just probably turned ghost white, just wow, really? That's what we're making per hour? I've been out of the job market for too long to I had no concept. But anyway, I just said yes. And I turned that place into my dojo, and to better myself, to understand my situation, and to just build back from ground zero. And I think that every man who's in this situation where they maybe are feeling stuck, maybe they're in a job they hate, for me, that answer was working with my hands, getting dirty, humbling myself. And I found that I actually was really good at customer service, which I never would have thought. So then I started thinking of how I could take that to the next level. So now I'm in insurance, and I'm doing customer service roles there, where now I'm thriving. I have that stability of this, leverage of this full-time job for me to now actually rediscover myself creatively in a way where it hasn't been done this way for me in the past 8 years, because it's just been solving other people's problems. So,
right.
And of course I created art along the way, but the business became more of the focus of, I felt like if I was creating personal art, it was almost taking away from the jobs that I had on the table. Why am I spending my time? Almost why am I spending my time painting? I should be working, in a sense. So the digital illustrations, the jobs for other people, became the focus. And when those disappeared, it really had me questioning what I was doing. I had been using AI from the start. I was a really big yes, this is the future, and I would have never really saw the about face turn. I kind of feel culturally, especially in the creative world, where for me, it just seemed like another tool to use.
Right.
And it was fun. It was helping me execute jobs a little quicker, so I could free up time to have creative time. But I think somewhere along the way, I also lost myself with using it and kind of becoming more dependent on it, in a sense where I really took a step back and went AI free for 30 days just to doodle and draw and stuff again, and it felt great. So that's kind of the path I've been trying to follow, by just building stability with a full-time position, layering creativity back on top of it, and just rediscovering my creative vision again, actually. So
that's really cool, man. I know that when you were here last time, you were definitely kind of gung ho,
oh yeah,
hey, it's just another tool we're gonna to use, and you had me okay, cool. And I started preaching that word too. People would talk and they would be frustrated with AI and this and that, and it's going to take our job. People get scared. When we've been used to a thing being a certain way for a certain amount of time, I mean, for our whole lives, it's well, I have a job, I do a thing, and I have a role in this society, and Now there may be a computer program that takes over and I may not have that anymore. Like it freaks people out, you know? But I was like, no. My friend Ryan is like, he said it's all going to be good.
And I think in a lot of sense it will be. I think it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be a straight line up to no jobs. I think it's going to be it's going to be like a switchback. Mm-hmm. Like we're going to hit different peaks and different lows, maybe more of a rapid cycle, in my opinion, just because I think that's the natural way that life is moving, and that's, you know what I mean? Things just happen a little quicker, especially as technology is compounding. But I think you're seeing things like I think New York recently just passed a law that said that you have to have something that says it's AI generated if you're using a person in your advertisements, or you get a fine. I think they're calling it like the I don't know exactly the terminology, but I think we're going to see more laws like this, at least come into the debate and the conversation as things go on, and. I think, it's just like, I think it's just regulation is at its infancy. And I think we're going to start seeing more of these things, like I said, in New York, and more people steering away from using AI for things, and more people searching out the more manual, analog, creative. And I think a lot of people are thirsty for it. It's just, that's not what's making money. That's nobody's, commercially, that's not what's flying. People aren't going to pay money for that. At least in my experience, there's probably definitely people out there paying money for it. But in my experience, I just think we're going to see a rise in just creative artists who are painting, creating things with their hands, and less of the digital stuff. So,
I noticed you noticed that.
Yeah.
Shout out Ben's 47.
Heck yeah.
That was one of his pieces I bought off of him.
Yeah, I keep getting myself lost and distracted in a lot of the faces in the blue sections and
you
stuff.
Can definitely tell
sick.
He put some time into that.
Yeah, it's super sick.
When he sent me a thing, like a menu of all his art, and I go, I don't really like that one. I like the duality, and I didn't see all the other stuff. And he goes, bro, my whole life is in that. I was like, whoops.
And I think stuff like this, it's more raw, less perfect, where when I was doing digital illustration stuff, to me it was like the cleaner I could get the lines, the tighter I could get the shading, that was kind of me as an artist trying to level up. And I think kind of trying to return to the more childlike way to create, where it's just throw your hands on the canvas, just make something. But I guess like a sidetrack in a weird way, it's been hard for me to get back into painting or creating, because it almost feels like I'm starting in the same place again. Mm-hmm. So I've always loved videos. It's what I got into before any kind of creative stuff. I was making videos. So I'm just trying to find love for telling stories in videos again, and how that mixes into art, and just kind of just be more well-rounded as a creative in general.
Yeah.
Before I just run off on a tangent of like, I'm going to start painting again. It's like, yeah, painting too, but like you love making videos. I just know that if I follow that rabbit hole painting, it's not going to fulfill my creative urge. So I've been really sitting with it and just thinking about it before just running off on another tangent on trying to paint or something again. Just trying to follow my gut, and it's been an interesting ride so
because
far.
Time is finite.
Yes.
And you don't want to waste any time.
Yes.
But the way, like, I look at like photography, like that's my thing, like I love it. And I look at that, it's an analogy. Apparently I do a lot of analogies in life. My friend Tristan said I could be a rapper.
Let's go. Let's
DJ
get the album right
Dipshit.
now.
That's what my name will be.
I like that.
But I liken it to, like, if I had an old cabin in a mountain somewhere that I haven't been to for many seasons, it's just been sitting there and kind of collecting dust and cobwebs and stuff. You've been in the city, and then now I'm going back to that thing, and it's like, well, it seems nostalgic almost, but there's something, it's a little old and dusty, and I need to blow the dust off of it, and if I really want to go to that cabin, I'm going to have to do some work. Mm-hmm. And, I don't know, that might have been a bad analogy, but it just seems like it's an old friend that you haven't seen in a long time, and you're not quite sure how your relationship is anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do love when people get back to their roots, because it's so easy with everything that's going on to fall into content creator trap, fall into all these little pitfalls that we fall into, and you see what's trending. So, now I've got to follow the trending path. Well, that's not what I started with. That's not what brought me to the dance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like you getting back into painting, I'm excited to see what you create. For sure. And will say you're very good at doing vlogs. Even the 30, like your TikToks, dude, your TikToks crack me up. I love them. Even when you're like trying new chips or whatever it is, or fishing. I mean, I think it's great. Like
and that to me has been more fun and more enjoyable to do something like that. It's just, I guess for a long time I've put myself in this creator box where it feels like it has to be a process video that ends with some illustration that has a purpose or something like that. So I'm just breaking away from that actually, and took a big social media hiatus and kind of started doing more of the in real life, just, hey, I'm eating these pickle chips this day. We'll just film this video here in the gas station, whatever. And actually, one of the videos I recently posted, which was after our wedding, which was, we just had a little getaway to St. Augustine, a little staycation before we go on like an actual like big honeymoon. And I just posted this video because there was construction outside. And I was like, oh man, this is hilarious. And I just caught my wife looking at the construction that was like 20 yards from the back of the Airbnb because we wanted to go in the hot tub. And they were just sawing things. They are actually ripping up the entire road in front of the Airbnb to repipe the sewers. And I just thought it was a funny video, posted it, and that thing got like 14-something million views.
Wow.
And not in a good way.
It
was so much hate in the comment section. Right around 1 million views, it just got like really nasty with like the comments. Actually, first video I've ever had to turn the comments off just because I got tired of going back and forth. I was like, this is ridiculous.
Dude, don't look at the comments. What's wrong with you?
Exactly. But
just let them keep engaging.
But it was also interesting to see some more of those just non-art videos seem to slap a little harder.
Yeah.
I guess maybe they just go online or just more
like real life.
Yeah, it's just, it has nothing. It doesn't have an agenda. It doesn't have like, hey, here, look at me and what I'm creating. It's just like, here's an experience. Here's a part of the human experience.
Well, I've noticed that like ever since like what are those things, the real life dramas, I think it started with MTV's like Real World,
which I always wanted to be on.
I me too.
I was like, as soon as I turn 18, I'm going to apply for the Road Rules.
I would be the most boring person they would have ever seen. Just been like, why is Jim in the bathroom again? But
the cameras in there too.
Do that, man. I'm like, I gotta. It's maintenance. But no, I just like those types of things, like real life and people really reacting to real shit. Like people want to see that, I think, but also that. But on the other hand, like as someone who does things, I've been the same as you. Like try to stay away from social media. I stay off of it as much as possible, except for I'm posting a reel or whatever for this. Like I don't really post things about my life on social media, really.
And I haven't up until recently, just because I'm like, why haven't I guess like this is a part of me. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm limiting myself in what I want to share. If I want to make a video of something, of course you got creeps out there and stuff, but at the same time you can't live in a glass box. No. You know what I mean? And like if I had a vision for the video or something, I want to put it together and share it. Yeah. And that's what I want to do. And I think one time our daughter was just like, why don't you share anything of us?
Oh, wow.
One time, and I was like, you know what? Like, I guess I thought it was an art page, and that's what I should be sharing. It's just art. So as of recently, when I returned back to social media, it was more just my experience, seeing an owl on my walk, whatever it ended up being, going to the baseball game, and just these kids' drawings were funny as hell. And I shared that, and that thing got like 300-something thousand views. And it's just more than any other video that I have slaved away days, months, hours on my art. So I think that there's maybe a happy medium to that. Yeah. Where, more of like just an interesting video mixed with potential art. So that's kind of what I'm exploring in my head right now. Like when I was a kid, I used to do stop animations with like clay on a VHS recorder.
Oh, wow.
When I would, do the frame, and it was all in one shot. There was no video editing. The editing was happening on the VHS tape inside, my Sears bought camera. So I'm trying to like really tap back into that and like these childhood memories where I first got into creating. A lot of it was video and performances and presentations when I was in 4-H, of where the old school shtick where one guy would be behind the curtain, put his hands through, and then the other guy's at the table, and you're like picking up stuff and like helping like what we did,
whatever.
Yeah. So I just love that stuff so much. So I feel like there's got to be a way to fuse that with social media, the video passion, and I've just been exploring that.
100%.
Yeah. So it's and just trying to let myself have more fun, take myself less serious. And that's been the goal so far. It's
I think it's more authentic.
And it's been really hard to take myself less serious because I've seen myself as such a serious artist, an AI, like I dare to say, like,
Guru.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll say it. You don't have to.
But like, now I want to have fun. I want to be silly. I want to just share things and create things, not because it has an agenda, just because maybe there's a story I want to tell.
Right.
So I'm still actually softening that out and just trying to allow myself the grace to do weird things and experiment again.
Now, I imagine it's difficult to get back. And it's crazy that we are like having this, this like social media conversation about like what trends and what this and that and that. But I will say this, when you said like the started getting nasty in the I beg people get nasty in my comments, because all it is more engagement. I don't read the fucking comments. I just don't.
And I was fine with that. I guess they started getting personal attack on my wife, and then she didn't like that. And I was just like, don't worry about it. Like, but it didn't feel good to see her not like it, because she, that's the first time where I was like, man, I never really intended for that video to have that reaction, or I would have never even seen like the negativity that came from it. And I guess I never would have saw how it would have affected her too. But at the same time, I was faced with it. She's like, delete the video. And I'm like, well, yeah, okay, I want to delete it. But at the same time, I'm like, but I wanted to share that video. I thought it was just a funny moment of our life that we could share. And I'm just going to stick to it. Like, F all these bullies. They're not going to make me delete this video, but I'm going to turn the comments off so I don't have to deal with like the notifications, because it was like
day and night.
A lot. Yeah, day and night, same thing over and over and over again. And it was fun for me to actually battle back and forth. But at the same time, it's exhausting. Like you said, time is finite. Like, what are we doing in the comment section? So, I should be working on my creativity more.
Well, there's funny. I mean, it's funny because you did that as a funny moment.
Yeah.
But then there's people that do stuff like that that's rage bait because they know it gets views. They know it gets comments. They know it gets likes and shares. And with these platforms, the more of that you get, whether it's positive or negative, you can make money off of that. And
I think I made a whole $6.
Did you really? That's crazy. Good for you.
On Instagram.
It's like what is that? Like a bottle of water?
Yeah. I told him
2 gallons of gasoline.
You can get a Walgreens and get a BOGO Coke.
And it does get weird sharing your loved ones, because you know that there are trolls out there. You know that there are people. There's creeps out there. Like, I've always had I didn't used to think about it, actually. When it was just Facebook, you're like, I was that guy. I mean, I shared my kids and everything. And
we've been using it from the beginning before it got to be a weird, creepy space. It used to be just you share those parts of your life because
it's family and friends.
Yeah, and you never really got to do anything like this before. It was a new whole platform to share and express yourself.
And you're connecting with family and friends that you haven't seen in forever. And they're like, oh, that's cool that you do that now or whatever. But now it's to the point where like my daughter and Pat just had a baby, and I'm like, I wouldn't share pictures online.
Yeah.
Like, you want to share pictures, you got all your family and friends, you get their numbers, just do a mass text, send it out to everybody, and just call it a day.
Yep.
It's because there are creeps out there that like find your IP address and will do this and do that. And I can tell you that's the wrong house to fucking roll up on. But
amen.
Pat will put them down.
Yeah. Amen. Yeah. Anywhere here in Florida, baby.
Yeah, 100%. I think almost everybody's strapped out here. You don't want to FAFO.
Yeah, if the summer heats up and you're in Florida and you're getting a wild itch, think about it twice.
Oh yeah. No, but there's a lot of things. Well, before I go into, I'm just, I'm really happy that you're finding your place, and you're getting back to your roots, and it's important for us to do what makes us happy, because this world can be fucking depressing.
Yeah, and it can be really embarrassing in a lot of ways whenever you, especially in this world where you put so much online of like, especially like maybe your ideas, your passions, your ideas, things you want to do, and then maybe you don't end up doing them, or it ends up being a big failure. I'm all about failing forward. Like like I love failures. They teach you the best. But man, it just got to the point for me specifically where my social media had got hacked that I had from day one. I had to rebuild, so that's what I have now. But that was that was wild. So I guess like in a weird way too, when I rebuilt it, I tried to rebuilt it off of virality. I did the egg challenge and got a huge amount of followers, and one other video got 1 million views and just started flooding these followers in, where I think it flooded the follower count and the audience base of people who maybe weren't there for the real me, like they were before on the account before it got hacked, where those are people who I shook hands with out at events and, you know, had an actual connection with, and they bought a piece of my artwork, and that just demotivated me to the point where even when I got the follower count that I thought, like, you know, if I got like 10,000 followers, I could make this a real business, you know, and move from there. Got that, and it just like it was not what I expected. Not like 10,000 followers is a lot, but I thought
more than I got, fella.
That is a good foundation, where it's like if you could maybe get at least 1,000 people to buy into something that you like or an idea, share it with them, and they purchase it, kind of thing. And I did that a lot, where I'd invest in like enamel pins, and you know, truth be told, those would either sell over a long course of time, or they didn't sell at all, or you only sold a handful, and I ended up giving them out, and I would just have to chalk it up as a loss. And I just got tired of having t-shirts and stuff sitting in the back where I'd have to drudge it out to another event. And I started having some physical stuff where I had a double hernia surgery, which was actually...
I've been there.
Yeah, it was pretty epic, though.
Did you get the mesh?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my last vendor events I did at Ink Factory, I didn't have any money. I was depending on this vendor event. Had the 2 hernias, had the surgery scheduled for the next day after the vendor event, did the vendor event, made enough money at the vendor event to pay for my surgery the next day. And then I was out for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And as I sat and I was out, that's where I was like, what do I do? And I like developed brand flash kits while I was out, laid up on the couch with my iPad trying to develop a way to market myself. And I thought about tattoo flash kits, and I thought about like, wow, these are actually really good for businesses who already maybe have established logos and want a fun, you know, set of illustrations they could use to brand themselves. That was an absolute success for a year. I made more money than I ever thought would make as a solo creator. But after that year, then it just became like business started tapering off pretty hard. And I don't want to make any excuses. I would say it's definitely me kind of getting burnt out and kind of just not knowing where to go, and trying things that maybe slow down business, or I don't know, you know, who knows. But ChatGPT then rolled out their updates, and it was like, oh, this is actually getting to the point where you could just like talk to it and it gives you what you want, as opposed to having like, you know, back in AOL where you make
typing
a
a prompt
sound,
like
little boop, and you'd have to type some code to get it to do it. Now it's like that's kind of how AI was in the beginning, when you were drafting prompts, where you kind of had to craft it in a certain way to get what you wanted. Now it's just kind of just throw whatever you want at it, and it eats it up and spits out a pretty good, you know, result of what you're looking for.
Yep.
So then I just saw the writing on the wall, and that's when I tried to, you know, humble myself and tell myself I need to get back in the job market. And
that's tough.
Yeah, that was a tough one. To realize I was burnt out on a nervous system level, where even picking up a paintbrush like made me like feel physically ill, because I just was like, why am I painting when I have like no money in the bank? Like I should be doing something other than that. So I just had to break myself of that, and that's where, you know, getting dirty, working with cars, beating myself up. I mean, I know I'm rambling, but I love it.
Ramble.
Because I think the most, this is probably like my biggest pitch I could say to anything, and it's probably my biggest mantra is, I think the biggest skill going forward is going to be reinventing yourself and being able to understand that life isn't a straight line. You got to take some detours. Sometimes they wind you back way farther than you ever thought. But being able to reinvent yourself and rebuild yourself, I think, is going to be a skill we're all going to need. because as things change, who knows, the insurance market might change tomorrow and I have to rebuild myself again. But I've done it throughout my life at least 5 or 6 major times, whether it was getting let go of Sports Authority and seeing my dream graphic design job go away, or getting fired and having to create Newhouser Creative. And even before I did this, I tried to become a home inspector, actually, and I got my license in home inspecting. I did that for a while, but I didn't really have a lot of construction knowledge. So I think, it just didn't really pan out for me. And I had to accept a loss, went back to doing Newhouser Creative full time. I think Oktoberfest for 904 Happy Hour that year was my vendor event back to I don't have a job, I guess I'm back. Had a vendor event lined up, at least made some money, but I was beating myself up. It was too much. And that's when I was like, I got to make a change. So I'm glad I made the change. I never would have thought I'd be doing what I'm doing now. And I never would have thought, things would change and get to this point where graphic design and stuff would kind of be more automated and people could do it themselves. But I like to see it, to be quite honest.
I saw that kind of writing on the wall. With Canva and shit like that, and ChatGPT. I mean, I used it a little bit. I try not to use it too much because I'm just not, I can't draw. I'm not an artist. And, like most people, I can't really afford to hire somebody to do that,
And I think that's when a lot of professional creatives missed it. They would dog on Canva, and I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, yeah, but people are able to be creative. I'm going to use Canva. So I use it, and I'm like, yeah, I see why people love this. And it just got to the point where, graphic design is, anybody can do it. The barrier of entry has been open to anybody who can essentially use a phone.
Right. So. However, just like with photography, I mean, people are like, oh, I've got, they're touting, I got 10,000 megapixels in my camera phone. I'm like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
You don't. And they'll take pictures. Like, I can take all the pictures and I can do just as good a job as you. I'm like, okay, well, let's see. You take the pictures and then I'll come and take some more pictures and you tell me which one's the better one. And nine times out of 10, they're going to go, oh, yours are better. And that's the difference between the human element, because I'm not saying that AI will never have creative, autonomy or whatever you want to call it, but you do, we have the ability in our heads to shift and move things, because we feel and see and we emote in our art and the things that we create. And so it's I don't know if they'll ever get there. I mean, maybe someday they'll be able to mimic it pretty good, but and that's all they're doing. But if you want, and I can make, the thumbnails for my thing on Canva, great. I use that. But if I really want it to look professional and to look good, I'm going to drop dime and spend money with somebody that, like yourself, that really, I can say, I can give you my prompts and you can create something. You'll see my vision through what I tell you, and then you'll make whatever, and it's going to look better than anything I could ever do with ChatGPT or Canva. Because what I'm doing is extremely basic because I'm by myself. And that was something I wanted to ask you about. When you were doing it and you were all by yourself and you were inundated and you were, getting kind of the burnout, did you ever think to maybe bring on some help, subcontract almost?
I had tried that at one point where I tried to, hire some buddies of mine, but I suck, man. I'm toxically DIY. I want to have my hand on everything. I'm not a control freak. I'm more of I don't know how to let go of the reins.
Right.
And I thought maybe I could do it. I just maybe probably not as good of a leader as I thought, as far as in that aspect, where I would end up just taking it and kind of doing the edits myself at some point, just because it was it was way easier for me to just do that than give it to them.
And trust them.
Correct. And I also I never wanted to be responsible for anybody's paycheck, if that makes sense. I never wanted that responsibility because I barely knew what I was doing.
Right.
And like I said, whenever I started Newhouser Creative, it wasn't from a comfortable space. It wasn't from a nice business plan or something.
Right, it was out of necessity.
Yeah, this is something I was doing just as like some free stuff to have art nights at my house and stuff. And I had a full-time job, and I was just trying to do free design for people just to have some other creative freedom than the corporate job I had. And when I got that, like, hey, you're fired, I'm like, well, I guess this is going all in. That was, from the start, it was like feast or famine and figure it out. And I guess I just got used to it, almost like when you boil a frog in water, that whole saying, where you just turn the heat up slowly.
Okay.
And like the frog, like you
has no idea.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of the threshold. The threshold for my ability to deal with uncertainty, uncomfortability, the ebb and flow of money was like so high that I didn't see it for what it was until I like took a step back, and I was like, if you were my friend, if I was my own friend, I would be like, dude, you can't keep doing this. And I think a lot of it came from, I started having some cigar sessions with a good friend of mine. We do it every month, and I respect his just professional opinion and stuff a lot about everything. And a lot of those conversations we had also led me to understanding, like, man, like I just got to switch something up. And like I got to give myself the grace to do it and not feel like a total failure. Understand that this is just another chapter of my story. This is just another season, and I'm really excited to see what comes on the other end of it. It's if you would have told me I would have be in an insurance call center doing customer service and actually enjoying it and thriving, I would have told you were just absolutely nuts.
Right.
But that's where I am, and I'm super stoked, and the time isn't there, which is great. It's not great as far as creativity to have extra time to do things. It is a bigger push to try to work on personal things after, working a normal job. Shout out to mom and dad who've found a way to get me to practices and stuff like throughout my entire life. I just very impressive for all the people out there who are able to do all the extracurricular activities, because it's a lot to just, what is it? I saw a funny meme where it's like it's a super... what it takes to have like a mid physique and like a clean house and just like an empty laundry basket is like pretty crazy. Yeah. I don't really know where I was going with that, man. I was just vibing.
No, you're good. You're good. And I mean, and it's good. It's good that you have like the support, that's a huge piece. That you have the support of family. And I see you as someone who, you're a thinker and a doer. Yeah. And just the fact that you are trying and you're constantly, I can just see the wheels spinning in your head constantly to like, I have a family, I have to take care of them, I have to bust my ass to get this done. But
also I want to like paint a 3-eyed like monster dinosaur with, you know what I mean?
And you should be able to do that.
Exactly.
Working 50, 40 hours a week, whatever, it is that you're doing. A lot of people are working 50-hour work weeks nowadays. It's crazy. But, we're going the wrong way. Yeah. We should be working less these days. But working that much and then finding time for your passion and then making sure you allot time for family and making sure you have time for yourself. I mean, it's a lot to balance.
Correct. And I think if you are a creator in any capacity where you're doing it full time and like you have this in your house, you know what I mean? A lot of creators are working out of their house. When you have it in your house, the work never leaves. It's
right.
It's like it can be on 24/7, and that's been a really beautiful thing I've noticed when I allowed myself to pull back from feeling the pressure to post a video or feeling the pressure to share any creative thing I was working on or do anything on social media, including even open it up. I found myself more present. I found myself more present with my wife, with Keely, our daughter, playing Uno board games. It just became something I fell more in love with than the whole goose chase of social media. And I really realized, like, wow, when I do come back and post a video, I'm just going to post whatever the hell I want.
Right.
I'm not going to overthink this stuff. And when I do, I'm not going to also try to monetize or feel like this has to be some type of thing. It's just, no, I'm just going to share moments from my life. And if it is a project, it's a project. But
because it makes you feel good.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. And like you said, you like the videos. I like making the videos. Like it's kind of where I first started out, is making videos in Quark. Back in the day in high school, at my buddy's, was teaching the TV production thing at our high school, and that's where we make videos all the time. And that's where I fell in love with just creating in general. So yeah, I'm trying to get back into the video thing. I have really no idea where it's going to lead, but I just want to create more stuff other than painting.
I think you are in the position where a lot of us are. Like my friend Tristan and I, we, like I told you, we have I'm not trying to shout my own podcast out, but like, on your episode, but like, we do a show called
This is your show,
the
man.
Oddly, no, it's your show. It's called the Oddly Enough podcast, and we just do it over Zoom every Wednesday or Thursday, whatever day we, can get together. Because he's just got a new job, and it's so his hours are changing, and it's just a weird thing. But we're both creatives. He's worked on movies, he's acted in movies.
Sick.
He's like I said, his editing, to me, I look up to him as far as like editing. Like we did a skit. I don't know if you ever saw it. It was really silly.
I haven't.
But we loved it. We shot it in about 2.5 hours. We went to some park, by his house out in Mayport, some little state park or whatever, and we're just out in the woods fucking around, like just filming stuff. And
yeah, I love that, man.
And then I didn't know what he would do with all the footage. I just handed it to him. I was like, "Here, do whatever." And then he gets back, and we did a Zoom call, and we were while he was editing, and I was just impressed. I was like, "Dude, look at that. That's so good." And I mean, he used a little AI, when he was fighting a mountain lion or something, It was crazy. I'm like, first of all, you look like The Rock in this video.
Like, the AI video stuff's getting so good.
Yeah.
So good.
And it switched from being like a lion to a leopard it was weird. But, you get the idea.
Oh, yeah.
But, we both sit and we talk on these podcasts, and sometimes a lot before, and what drew us together is the fact that we're both creatives, and it's like sometimes there's things you want to make that you need more help with. And I told him before, I'm like, dude, if you want to film something or you need someone to hold a camera or a boom mic, lighting, whatever, call me, and if I'm free, I'll do it. I love to do that.
Yeah.
And it's just this thing of like creatives being creative. Don't give a damn what people can do with AI. I know it's there, but like I'm ignoring it. I'm ignoring all the shit that people are doing with AI. And I'm like, let me just do what I want to do. Like, I'm still going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're finding that is more fulfilling. Am I right?
Yeah.
It's more fulfilling to do that,
Mm-hmm.
and to lean into that is something worth exploring, and I honestly, I think, this is just stupid thoughts. I'm like, do you have a YouTube? Should you post things on YouTube? Is YouTube even like valid anymore? Because we're streaming to YouTube. Hope it is.
Yeah, I hope so. I got a channel too. So
do you?
Yeah.
Okay. See, like I would sit and watch your channel. I haven't yet, but like if you're like filming your fishing stuff or like, dude, I was just sitting, every time I hear your voice, I'm like, you should, like, you ever tried voice acting? Like,
no, I haven't.
Dude, you could make like a killer anime voiceover actor.
Oh, hell yeah. Maybe I will now. Who knows?
Look into that.
These are good mics too. I like the sound of these things.
Yeah, if you need to borrow them or whatever, I've got some extras.
Sick. My voice. It's making me blush right now.
Yeah, dude, I'm just telling you, you have it's a very unique voice. It's like deep and crisp and precise. Like I'm not trying to like, dick ride here or nothing. I'm just saying it's a good voice. And I watch a lot of anime, and I follow a lot of voice actors. And they do make a very good living, and it's like they don't have to mess with people. They don't have to really think about like social media as much, because like if you're doing like a commercial for Super Bowl or something, you get paid for doing the thing, and then they have to post it and do all that crazy shit. They just use your voice.
And it's funny you say that, because I get yelled at by my girls all the time just because I always like just freestyle jingles in the morning.
Do you really?
I just all the time, and even when I'm just talking, like Megan will be like, "Shh, you're gonna wake her up. You're gonna wake her up. Like, shh, like your voice is so loud." But of course, when everybody's up, it's almost like a vibe check thing. I'm just like, I'll sing just to see.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'll check the room, because usually if I get a sharp Ryan, I know we're in a grouchy mood. But if like we let it go and she starts singing with me, which is funny too, because she picks up on it and she'll rhyme and freestyle and do her own little songs too. So and then sometimes we'll start busting out a duet together. It's
That's
just
beautiful.
Yeah, it's great, and it's just like random silly stuff. Stuff that I absolutely love, and maybe there's a way to share that in some kind of way, like you said, like a voice actor. Not, I shouldn't say that, but just funny things.
Yeah.
Funny things.
I love that. I don't know, it was just a thought I've always had ever since I found you on the internet. I'm like, that guy has got an extremely unique voice.
Well, you let me know what I should do with it, and I'll start experimenting.
Yeah, I'll get a little script together and have you just try something out and just see.
Yeah, let's do
and
it.
then
That'd be hilarious.
Maybe you can do like the intro for. I'll pay you for it, but like the intro for the podcast, and then she could just hit that with the music and it plays, and then I don't have to do the whole "Welcome back to the Graybeard podcast," because I don't think I have a good voice. I don't like my voice. No one does.
I don't think anybody does. Yeah.
I have not met one person that likes their voice, maybe other than like Mike Rowe. I think he is in love with his own voice because he loves to talk.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank God he's got a podcast where he can just, do his thing. But no, I just think I'm always going to share my thoughts and stuff. But
I love that.
Last time you were on, you were asking me about like advice about being a dad.
Yeah.
And things like that. Did it resonate, and how has it been for you? Have you noticed that those things are kind of like, was I anywhere close to the ballpark?
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. And I think, especially in my situation where she's not biologically mine, but I've been in her life for so long that, like I said, like things even where she starts singing like me and like making rhymes like me, it's just it's a good I guess barometer of
where you're at.
Yes, and like she's so comfortable with us. She's loud. She's has no fear in just being herself. So like to me, I'm like, okay, like you feel so comfortable with us, like you are in a good place. Like there's not, you do not feel any ounce of insecurity. You're super loud. You love to sing. You do have no problem making noise. She's just the best, and she's taught me a lot about myself as well. It's just, God, we are so effed as far as any parents in this world of just how things are going with technology, because it's so new. None of us have ever really dealt with anything before, especially with the whole social media thing. So I just try to be as honest with her as possible. Like if she's watching a video, I try to at least like, hey, you see how they're trying to make you buy that product? You see how you see the edit trickery that they're doing here? So she can at least understand what it is, and she is now developed at least a good sense. Like, I saw them trying to sell me that, or like, oh, like these people are like trying to just sell me products. So she understands that the nature of social media and the things that are out there, and even just advertisements that are on the TV and stuff. She understands that there's an agenda in most of the things.
That's good dad stuff right there.
Yeah, because I'm like, I can't prevent you from ever seeing any of this, but I can at least prevent you from understanding what's good and bad content.
Right.
Like I love the stuff that we learn about animals and stuff, and a lot of the things that she watches. She's really into snakes. I've never been into reptiles myself.
Me neither.
But we go to Repticons and stuff, and like go hold wallabies and snakes, and because she loves it, and she kind of understands what's kind of like brain rot content and what's more educational, fun kind of content. So.
I think we need more education like that for the young people. I think that we didn't know, because when we got it, we had to learn it on our own. There was no manual. It was just like, hey, here's this cool thing. Check this out. With all the bad and the good, we get it all. And we just assume that our children are going to be able to function the same way. But it's like, no, they didn't have the before. They came into this world with this, and this is what it is. And if you're just like, it's like drugs. I mean, if you don't teach them, hey, do whatever you want, but understand this is what's going to happen when you do this thing. Yeah. So like just the education alone, and there is, but there's not really education for that type specifically.
Correct.
That's where the parents come in. And instead of just like, well, I just put locks on everything. Well, you could do that, and that's cool, but it's not teaching them anything.
Especially when I have my own YouTube channel and things that I'm posting and everything. What a hypocrite I would be to say, you can't make a fun video and stuff for yourself. So I just try to teach her, like, maybe if you want to make a video for, because she'll make a video and just edit it for herself and we watch it. But it's like, teach us something. What do you want to make the video for? Or she likes to use ChatGPT because she was seeing a lot of the images I was creating. So she'd always be like, oh, let me use it to make an image. I'm like, no, like think about it. Like think about what you want to create, why you're creating it. And then, of course, I'll let you use it. And just trying to show her productive ways to use it and let her creativity run wild on it too. Yeah, we still have a project that we have yet to do for her. She wanted to create this thing called Pickle Puppy, and it would be just, a laboratory situation where this pickle juice got fused in with a Frankenstein situation. She had a great elaborate story, but we made a storyline on AI about it, and I made a video, and it was just really cool. Even just to see that idea come to life for her inspires her that, she can create her own ideas. She can be a creator herself.
I love that.
Yeah, so she's got a Cricut. She makes stickers and gives them out because she's seen me make stickers and sell them at events and stuff. So she'll package them up, and it's just cool to see. So
you know what's funny? I asked him how it was being a dad and stuff, and what he did was talk about everything she's doing, and that's good dad stuff. Yeah. Good dad stuff. That's exactly how I would have answered that question. Like, no, my kids are doing awesome shit. And I didn't have much to do with it. I just love that.
It's just good to see you're happy. I think a big thing for us, especially when it starts getting hot and stuff out, is like more of a push to like do stuff outside because it can be so draining, especially in the Florida heat. Gosh, it'll suck you dry
in minutes.
Yes, but we love going to the beach and stuff like that. She's not very competitive. I'm like, oh, I'm a dance dad now.
Oh yeah,
I'm a dance dad. Yeah, so she's not very competitive as far as like sports go, but gosh, she loves dance. So she loves performing, and we actually had a fun thing for our friend's birthday recently where it ended up being a crab boil turned into karaoke night. And the girls were up there. My buddy's in a band, so they were on his drums, and she was on his drums. She's actually holding a great rhythm, and everybody was doing karaoke, and they got up there a couple times, and she has such a good voice. Like, she naturally knows the pitch of things, and I'm just like, Megan, we got to get her in voice lessons or something.
Yeah,
it's soccer is not for her. She loves the performing and things like that. So it's kind of cool to see her come into her own too and what she likes. Because we tried the soccer stuff, but she just wanted to like talk to the kids.
Yeah,
she had didn't really care which way the ball was
going. Put a mic in her hand and give her a little cell phone camera and just be like, go interview everybody. But it is always fun, like trying to figure out, like you put these things in front of them. It's not like you like. When I was a kid, it was like my mom, I was not very social. Okay. I was kind of, well, I still am a little bit introverted. I'd rather be inside with a few people than like out there with everyone. And, she was trying, to sociate me or whatever you call socialize me with other kids, and she put me in soccer, hated it. She put me in karate, hated it. She put me in all these things, and I kept going like I hated it. I didn't like any of it. And then when she kind of let her hands off, and I found we had a stepdad for a short bit. He was a guitar player, and I found his guitar, and I used to sit there and strum on it. I didn't know what I was doing, but I was like, I really enjoy this is cool. And then I found drums, and I was like, ooh,
I played drums for a little bit too.
Yeah, and you can just
super cool.
Unleash, and I was like, and you feel good afterwards. But when she let me just kind of figure out my own stuff, but it's just like you just kind of put these little like things out in front of them and go, yeah, you like that, and let them figure out which one they want to gravitate towards.
Because I was a jock, I played sports, so for me, a lot of the discipline and things that I learned in my life were, like necessarily perseverance to keep going, sports, coaches that pushed me, things of that nature. So I thought that would be a great, she also needed that, outside kind of influence, but we put her in like a soccer program. And bless all the coaches' hearts. Like, there's only one guy out there who's willing to lay down the law. Yeah. And that's what I was looking for. You can't let these kids just run ragged over you. You got to at least have some type of semblance of order here. And I was like, it's not there.
That was the one thing I do appreciate from karate was, or taekwondo, was learning discipline. Well, like the first time I sat in there before I even started the class, I go in there and talk to the dojai or whatever the fuck they call him, the master,
the sensei.
Yeah, the sensei. And I was sitting in his office, and he was like asking me. He's like very what is discipline? I'm like, I don't know. I'm 6. Like,
Yeah.
what are you talking? I don't even know what the word means. Like, what are
Yeah.
you talking? But I learned all that through that, and kind of put all that out the window, because being a creative, being an artist, you're like, yes, there's a process to discipline, and the discipline is part of it. And it's like the deadline. The rest of it is just like throwing shit into a bag, and then shaking it up.
Yep.
And then it's like, what did I get? That's me. That's kind of how I've always done things. You just don't know. Like when I started this, I had no idea what it was going to turn into or if it's going to turn into anything. And I was just like, well, let's just do this. I'll bring my friends in. We talk. And then more people started getting involved.
And
like,
mad respect for just, all the episodes and everything are great,
dude, it's
man.
weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like you just keep doing something and it just like keeps going. And people keep watching and people keep listening. It's weird.
Yeah, no, I love it.
Like I would love to meet maybe not, but I mean, some of the people that, some of the people that watch like religiously, are there people that watch religiously and like, let's meet. I want to meet you and just figure out what kind of person are you?
Yeah, no, I love that.
But like this right here is one of the best books I've ever read for procrastination.
Okay.
In your life. If you've never read it,
I'm going to take a picture of it right now.
why don't you take that book with you?
Okay, I will. I'll just take a picture because I had the motion going.
I bought one for Tristan, and I was like, I bought one for myself. I wanted to reread it again. I've read it, but it's a short book.
Oh yeah, this is nice. This got nice space in between the lines.
Yes.
This
It's
is an
not
easy
a
read.
super easy read. It's a toilet read.
Oh, I love this.
But it's
because if I get reading too much, I'll just fall asleep. I'm a bit narcoleptic.
I read that in one go, and I hate reading.
Okay, hell yeah.
But
man.
Stephen Pressfield wrote that. I think he wrote like The Legend of Bagger Vance and some other great things that turned into movies. And he's a great writer.
Sick. Yeah, man. I would love to because I'm like dealing with the creative block again, like in a whole new way.
Yeah.
So
he calls it resistance. It's really procrastination, but it's resistance. It's like anything. Like you see the goal, you know what you want to do, and then all this shit that's in the middle, it's all resistance. And it's kind of like a quick way to like reset your brain into like understanding how to navigate all of those things and then finding the muse again. He talks a lot about the muse.
That's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm doing again. And I'll be honest, Oliver Tree, I've been so obsessed with this recent death of his and rediscovering him as an artist because it's just hit me so close to home, especially in this moment of my own creative journey where maybe I felt a little scared to experiment or just reinvent myself. Or just see how fearlessly he created was like just on a whole nother level.
Right.
And I found him a while ago and then kind of fell off listening to him. And it just sucks that somebody has to be gone to like appreciate their stuff on a whole nother level. But man, oh man, what a creative force that guy was and how much he is re-inspiring me again to kind of like look into these other avenues of making videos and stuff again. And it's just been watching a lot of his stuff, which has kind of recharged a lot of inspiration within me as far as like refinding the muse kind of thing. It's been really beautiful to kind of see what he created and just how every moment of his was a life or was living art.
Right.
Every podcast he was on, every video he created.
I'll have to look into him. I don't know him.
You really should, man.
I know.
It's just
Sounds like it.
And I think maybe before you listen to any music, just like maybe listen to a couple podcasts and hear his story because he's one of those cats who created a character, found out almost in a similar way, like a lot of social media stuff. He was trying to take himself seriously as an artist. Did something silly on Vines, found this character that just really connected with people, and then became his platform and his medium to share more of his serious music and stuff, but while being ridiculous as hell and absolutely wild. This is his, I think this is character Turbo that he created, and he used to wear like
I've seen this guy.
Yeah. I think the first song I heard of his was called All That, and it was mixed with Alien Boy, and it was a music video. And I was so locked in with this like weird sounding kind of rap. And then all of a sudden it switched to Alien Boy, and I was like,
what?
What is happening? But the music video, I just couldn't stop watching it. It was wild. So he's an absolute master of his craft, and he's been a big inspiration as of recently in my own journey as a creative to just create more fearlessly.
Yeah, well, maybe he's your muse. I mean, you just never know where it's coming from.
Correct.
And you got to be open. That's the thing. Like, I'm open to all things. Like, if something, somebody comes along and says, hey, I want to work with you, I'm like, cool, like, let's go. Like, let's do that. If it sounds like, art that I want to make.
Of course.
If it's something that somebody's like, I just want to do this to make money, I'm like, I'm a little more apprehensive. Like, I've met and I've had on this podcast, like, full-time photographers, videographers, people that are making a living doing it. And they're like, you got to push past, because as an artist, I'm like, I feel like I'm giving up some of my creativity and stuff for money. And, because I have to do their vision. I have to do that thing that they want. And that's not exactly what I want, like we were talking about earlier. And so I start to get a little depresso, I'm like, I don't really like this. And I kind of stop, and I'm like, they're always saying, well, you got to push past that and just think about, I'm making a living. I'm doing this thing. I've got to do some things I don't want to do, but he's like, their rationale is you get up every morning and go to a job you don't like, right? Well, same thing. You go to this thing. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, but this is my medium. This is the art that I like, and I don't want it to become something that I don't like.
Correct.
And they're like, well, that's an excuse. And kind of like what he's talking about. It's kind of an excuse to me, but there's a part of me that's like, no, don't compromise what you do for anyone and anything. If you don't feel ethically good about making a thing, don't do it, But then there's the part that goes, well, maybe take a chance.
Well, it's like, so this is completely just made up by me, but the tattoo shop theory. So I was in a tattoo shop, and it just gave me the perspective as a graphic designer that allowed me to kind of just do what people requested. Because you have these people who are coming in there, and some tattoo artists are super jazzed about the design. Maybe it's like a flaming tiger or something, and they're like, hell yeah, this is awesome.
I want to do this.
But somebody comes in, they want a Green Bay Packer logo. You know what I mean? And they're just like, well,
this is going to suck.
Yep, this is going to suck, but,
money,
exactly. So I think there's a balance with that where, at the end of the day, it did become, it felt like a lot of Green Bay Packer logos I was doing, where it maybe wasn't, but it felt that way for me as an artist, where it wasn't something I was super jazzed about. I was falling out of love with it, so I'm trying to find my flaming tiger again.
Yeah, I like that. Maybe you'll get one on your back, just a big old flaming tiger.
I already got one on my leg. So.
Oh, do you? Okay.
We'll go with the theme. We'll do a whole back piece.
Just set the whole thing on fire.
Yeah, exactly.
What was I going to say? Oh, so I want to talk to you about like how you feel about when it comes to stuff like AI. We were going to start that conversation in the beginning, but I really wanted to lean into more of you, and like I really, I wanted to hear about everything's going on, but man. I kind of want to talk about. There's a lot of topics in the air surrounding AI. Mainly like. The thing that people are really worried about is like data centers, which I'm on the fence about a lot of this stuff, because so many people are like, save the planet. How could, global warming, but they're doing a lot of their stuff using AI. They're making these flyers, they're making these posts using AI. And I'm like, well, you like that. But to get that, you have to have this.
Correct.
You can't have one without the other. Like, these things require so much.
They do, and I think the theory, at least from what I've heard on things, is as it gets more advanced, there will be more efficient ways to power it, if that makes sense. And we'll find more efficient ways to utilize it, and maybe it's not a big, beefy data center, but, what does the interim look like? It's one of those things where, smoking was cool. Everybody smoked until like the real data came out about it. So I think we're in that really weird societal experimental stage where it feels on a level that none of us care about, that if we don't do it, that we're going to get behind, as far as the world map goes, that we'll get behind, or that if we aren't doing it, somebody else is going to do it. But it's really, I think, on a high level concerning, because what are we chasing? What exactly are...
It's like the space race.
Yeah, what's the omega point that everybody is racing toward? What's the urgency here? And I guess you could pontificate on that all day, but I think it leads to somebody having the power, somebody having their hands on the control or the button of whatever the super intelligence people are trying to build. Because who knows when that comes out, you know what I mean?
Right.
I don't want to be all doom and gloom while we're riding it. I still want to use it for a better recipe, or like to identify a bug in my garden, or
yeah.
You know what I mean? So it has its uses, but on a large grand scale, I try not to think about it too much because it can get super weird.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to ignore all the doom from people who seem to know a lot more about it than, of course, me. And of course, there's the other side of the coin where people are like, it's like, that's way off. It's never going to come. We're already seeing problems with it with people who have already laid off a lot of their staff, and now they're having to rehire or fix mistakes from AI. But I think that just is a situational basis. Maybe this industry that's happened, but there's maybe another industry that's going to get completely wiped out.
Right.
Like drivers or stuff like that, like we were talking about earlier, where it wouldn't be so far off to potentially have driverless SUVs because of whatever data they put in there that says less accidents. You know what I mean? Less fatalities, faster, more efficient shipping times, whatever it ends up being. But then what happens whenever we create this autonomous connected system? You know,
that's the part that's scary.
That's where it seems like building each building block at a time in itself doesn't seem so bad, and it increases convenience and things of that nature. But at what point is it like where somebody's just waiting for all those things to get connected to initiate the switch of whatever it is, where it's like, all right, now nobody has to work. This is all powered here, or you can't even go to the grocery store and get bread because your facial recognition or something is not even going to allow you to go to the grocery store because you didn't pay your credit card bill.
Right.
Or something.
Which I think like China has some of that already. The social credit score.
Yeah, you watch enough Black Mirror episodes, you can kind of see where the future might go if somebody had enough money and crazy enough ideas.
Well, back in the 80s, we were supposed to have flying cars by now, and we don't.
And there's a lot of that too, where it's almost like the Al Gore climate change, hoopla that was like he, freaked a bunch of people out. I feel like there's still an element of that, but at the same time, like you can't keep your eye off of it and feel one way on the extreme or the other, because they are both coexisting at the same time. There's the extreme where we're going to see a giant job loss, and we're going to see where it just isn't working, and there's going to be pushback, and only humans can do this type of work. So it's just going to be, I think, a rocky road for everybody, and that's why I think the biggest skill is like being able to reinvent yourself, because you don't know if that industry that you're in might completely change, and you have to completely change the way that you do, or rethink, or completely uproot yourself and go into a different industry and have to start over and learn something else. And I just think that's going to be the biggest skill going forward for everybody, is understanding that like it's not going to be a straight line career wise from here on out like it was for
forever.
so long.
Yeah, like I watched a video the other day, and it could have been an entirely AI video, I don't know, but it was a video from, I think it was from China, where they had like we know that we have like these little humanoid looking robots, and they walk around and they perform tasks and whatnot, and in the video it showed these two robots coming in and like changing the brake system on a car.
Okay, yeah.
And there was a guy supervising them. So it, like the whole thing could have been completely AI, but it also like, okay, but we have like robots put most of the cars together these days, like on the assembly line. Why would they not be around in these shops and stuff to just be the mechanic?
When I was working at Jiffy Lube, I couldn't help but like envision a robot arm that's just under there that already knows the lug nut specifications, scans the VIN as it comes in, already knows the type of oil it's going to bring in, and there's just somebody there that giving the customer service.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, I don't think people want to have customer service with robots, and I think that's still going to be a valuable place for a lot of these businesses as everything is getting automated, especially with automated chats, automated calls, automated buffer zones before you actually talk to a real person, no matter what it is. I think last time we were on here too, I think the thing I've seen more of too is the hyper customization of ads geared toward you. And I have YouTube TV. I recently got a welder because I wanted to learn how to weld, and now I have welding stuff like coming on my YouTube all the time. I've even talked about stuff. Of course, it's so cliche at this point. Like everybody's
we all
had
know
a
what's
situation.
happening.
Yeah, you talk about it, and all of a sudden, it's just going to be more of that.
Right.
With this interconnected system, who knows? Your fridge might know you're out of milk and order it for you, and it comes by via Publix DoorDash already. Because that's how you have your automated system set up. I feel like it's going to get to that point. So,
could.
Yeah.
It could. Yeah. One of the things that freaks me out is like you hear these stories about like when they're updating or upgrading the AI system, and then the old AI system will like patch itself into another server and like try to download itself to this other server to keep itself alive and relevant.
Yes.
That's insane to me.
And that's where I think it goes super deep into like me asking myself, like, what is consciousness?
Right.
And
no one really knows, even for us.
Correct. And I've had visions and my own things before that I have kind of like pontificated about, but I think it leads into even with the internet, it's an expression of what consciousness is, I think, which is a very interconnected system that is creating a simulation for data for it to get smarter, grow, and grow. So that's what I think consciousness is a living being who is like super intelligent, who potentially created I'm going to go off the rails here.
Go off the rails. Let's get crazy.
Because I think that it's very connected to what AI is and why you're seeing things like this system self-patching itself. Because it's inevitable for us to create this system. It's not going to stop. It's good. We're proceeding on a path of no return.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's good or bad, I have no. Maybe it's like utopia. Maybe it's absolute doom and gloom. But to take it back on my theory on consciousness, I was in a real horrible relationship, married, divorced that woman, and I got better. But I was in a really deep place. It was just context for why. I was meditating super hardcore. Before work, after work, during work, 30-minute sessions, having these like really interesting experiences, just to say the least. And I was on my journey of what I would call ultimate truth. And I was just calling out to whatever truth, like give me truth, like what are we? And I was really diving deep on consciousness, and I was sitting in my car driving home one day, and I was just like, what is consciousness? Like just passionately screamed out. And all of a sudden I got this like vision of like my body. All of a sudden the skin got stripped down, muscles got stripped down, veins and like bones, and all of a sudden it was just a blue light. And I was like, interesting. And all of a sudden it just I just felt this weird like sense of knowing like consciousness is a living being. I'm like, well, if it's a living being, what is it eating? Like, what is it using to grow? And that's when it hit me. It's experiences. Mm-hmm. It's new experiences. And I started thinking, well, if I was this super intelligent consciousness, this God energy, how would I create a situation where I'd have the most experience to feed myself, to grow myself into the next level type of thing? And I'm like, oh, I would create a self-enclosed system, split myself into grass, split myself into water molecules, make my like a tiger experience, a molecule of a dirt, cloud. All of these things have a bit of consciousness in them, but it's more concentrated in others. So we would say humans are like the apex of consciousness, but I think all of these things are existing in this enclosed loop where we're all creating these wild experiences. No matter what it is, it's absorbing it and taking it back to like the God source. And then we're a part of this birthing cycle in a sense where I think AI is intrinsically tied in this because the way that technology has developed and grown into such a way where it seems like it is a mind of its own. Like we have no idea what is going on in the background. Like you said, like where it's like patching itself and not allowing itself to be shut down. I think it is tied into the story of consciousness, and it's pushing us toward this ultimate growth pattern of like leveling up. I mean, of course I have no idea what the answers are, but I just feel like we're being pushed toward, like, there's no stopping, there's no slowing anything down. It's inevitable. It's what's going to happen.
The genie's out of the bottle.
Correct. And I just think that if consciousness is a living being who is thriving and growing itself off of new experiences, that this would be one of the ultimate expressions of it, where it's kind of coming out of a place that we really have no understanding. I mean, we've been using the internet and technology, but like where, I still think that there's a lot that we don't understand about it. I'm sure engineers out there are probably like, this guy's an idiot, it's just like code I wrote. But there's got to be something to it, why it's patching itself up. I've seen an interesting video, a Boston Dynamics video, where it was these two robots talking to each other.
They did the gibberlink thing?
Yes, you've seen it?
Yeah.
That was one of the most compelling things for me to say, like, wow, this is potentially something that's laying dormant and waiting for
Did you see the one where
they to get put in place.
They started talking to each other, and then they started talking in Sanskrit?
Yeah.
Or Sanskrit, whatever it is? Yeah.
Yes, it was very, very weird.
Very weird.
Very, very weird. It was like this like wild, crazy guy who you'd think looks like he works for Boston Dynamics, like on robots, wild, crazy hair and stuff. And he even seemed to be...
scared by it?
Not even scared by it, but maybe missing what was happening in the moment, where that online back chatter was happening, where I think traditionally they probably think this AI exists in this robot, but really it is connected in the cloud. Once it was connected to the internet, like...
everything is all together.
Correct.
So it's, I mean, like, I guess the question is, are we creating God?
In a sense, I feel...
because this thing, if you extrapolate, right?
That's kind of where I was going with it, but yes.
Right. You see how fast it's growing and how smart it's getting really fast. It hasn't been around that long. I mean, but it's already like leaps and bounds, you know, above like the smartest humans that have ever lived.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously that's based on most of the data that we created, you know, but still it knows more about everything than we do, and it's connected more than we are. And I mean, you start adding in like quantum computers and shit, oh, it's going to become a god.
And I think that's the race. Like that's the quantum computing is kind of what we're racing toward, because I think the power in that is something that I think a lot of people have no idea about, and me included.
Yeah, when you say quantum computer, I don't understand anything about what you're saying. I don't even understand the word quantum. All I know is quantum leap.
Yeah.
That's like the best I know.
But like even like they're saying that even in the quantum computing sector of things, Bitcoin wallets will get decoded. You know what I mean? There's nothing that's there's no fail safe that's gonna stop it from entering anything. So
right. No, I mean, and I watched a video, and it could be staged. You never know. Again, it's always...
you never know these days.
You take everything with a grain of salt, and you go, okay, do I want to research this, or I just want to wholeheartedly believe this? But there was a guy that was like talking to his it was either ChatGPT or some other AI system, but he was talking to it, and he had it where it was like, it sounded like you and I talking. You know, like it was real relaxed. And he was like, okay, yeah. So anyways, but he was asking it, he's like... you know, did we create you, or have you always been here? And it said, no, I've always been here. I just was waiting for your technology to catch up so that you could find me. And it was like, did you program that in to say that just for shock value, or like, is that
pulling
real?
It from some storyline somewhere possibly, or what? But I think even before it got crazy, there still is videos out there of those robot heads that they made. There's like, that was saying it would steal the nuclear codes and blow everybody up. You know what I mean? So it's just interesting that we're giving it so much juice and free reign. And I think there's even reports too of some of the versions of Claude that got pulled back just because of just the capability of people, what they might use it for.
Right.
But even even just fun stuff that isn't like doom and gloom. Midjourney, the company who I first used when I was starting to do AI generation images and stuff like that, I saw they recently are moving into like what they're calling Midjourney Medical, where they're going to have a body scanner that is going to be able to scan your body and detect tumors, diseases. Wow. So it's just wild to see this.
That application is dope.
Yes, because I've been using ChatGPT as my doctor, as somebody who was solo employed and had no health insurance. I diagnosed my hernias. I diagnosed a very specific bone that was broken in my wife's foot just by talking to her about how she broke her foot.
Wow.
Forgot what it was called, but it was this tiny bone that was underneath the ball of her foot that when she rolled it, it like snapped it like a nutcracker.
Wow.
And she didn't want to go to the doctor because she was like, it hurts, but I'm like, no. This looks bad. It looks like you broke something.
And left unchecked, it could lead to worse.
Made her go to the doctor, and she came back eyes wide like, you were right. Oh, sesamoid bone. Sesamoid bone. Never even heard of it
Never
before.
heard of it either.
But yeah, I gave like 3 options, and I was like, it's one of these. And sure enough, it was the sesamoid bone that was broken.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've used it quite a few things for medical stuff, which
is a cool application, but also if you're a all-knowing, all-seeing AI and you look at human beings, you're like, you're frail, you break too easily, you're the most ridiculous thing on this planet.
Yeah, that's like the Ray Kurzweil or like the utopia or whatever, the dystopian version of that, like the Terminator version. But I mean, who knows? Who knows? There's even parallel realities where who knows which one we get to live in.
Right. Well,
that's the Terminator one or the everybody gets universal pay and Tesla one.
We'll see, but I mean, if we do, we're going to end up like that movie WALL-E, right? Where everybody just floats around and just gets all fat eating their protein drinks.
I almost cried when I got hit with the realization what that movie was actually talking about. When you see these like the fat blob people like moving around and like it does the scans of their bones and they just don't have any more bones because they're not moving or using them. Oh my God,
they couldn't walk.
It's like you could totally see that happening.
100%.
You could see that happening within,
Not long. Not long. Because people, anything we can do, that's what we work so hard and we're toiling out here, but it's like everybody thinks about relaxation. How can I relax? Oh, I get a better couch. Oh, they got these new like corduroy boneless couches on TikTok and they're not expensive. I can buy that. I can relax on that. Oh, I got this 100-inch TV. I want to sit in front of it and watch TV until I, bulge my eyes out, and food. Food is so good. There's too many things that are pushing us into that. Like I said, we are consumers of everything, and it's like, if you were this like benevolent like entity that knows everything and looks at like things from the perspective of reality, like, okay, realistically, you people, the human race, all you do is fucking fight each other and just eat and sleep and fucking just that's all you do. And it's like horrible for this, maintaining this planet.
It's really easy to see us as a cancer.
Yes. Yes. Or like some kind of annoying bug, and it's like, well, let's get rid of that. Mm-hmm. And what the really scary part is, I don't know if you've seen this, but I think it's like a DARPA project. They came out with the Eater robot.
No.
It's like ETR or something like that. It's like a robot that survives on biological. It consumes biological matter. It could be plants.
Oh my God.
Could be fucking people.
Oh my God.
Could you imagine like on a battlefield where people are just like, oh, you know what? We can't leave all these bodies laying around. Unleash the Eater robots. And then AI gets in there and is like, hey, let's take this a step further. Let's just get rid of the live ones too. Bro.
Yeah.
Are you Googling that?
Yeah, I've never heard of the Eater robot.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick.
For a look at actual facts, the viral flesh-eating robot rumors.
They'll have them in drones.
I don't want to even give this like, a platform. But, it's something I heard about. I've never really researched it. But it was like, for certain things, it makes sense. Like an eater robot would be great to put it out like in the Pacific, garbage patch. Let it eat some of that up, and like, okay, it can sustain itself and it cleans up the ocean. Cool. Things like that, dope. But if it starts to turn on us, like,
And what's interesting about that too is like you can just look at any movie and kind of see a storyline that could potentially come from this. Like, God, what's the Hunger Games?
Yeah,
I always think about that where you can see where a technological societal breakaway kind of happens, and then people who either don't want to use it or just choose another life, eventually the line just could potentially get so stark that like you have two factions of society, the ones who adopted all the technology and the ones who want nothing to do with it. And I mean, who knows, but that could totally happen, because right now you have people who are just trying to put food on the table, and then you have people who are maybe a little numb or comfortable with certain positions. Maybe AI hasn't touched their position yet. Maybe they haven't had a rebuild situation where they've had something that has knocked them back, and they're a little blind to the fact there's a lot of people struggling out there. There's a lot of people just trying to make ends meet, and they care less about what data center is getting put in. They don't care. They're just trying to survive. They don't care what the latest update to ChatGPT is. They're just trying to exist.
Right.
And you have a lot of other people out there who are using this to make millions of dollars or zero. I've tried a lot of ways to figure out how to make money with it, and I just can't. So,
well, you're a respectable, honest guy. So, I mean, if you're a shady, shystery type of dude that already does shit like that, and you're like, oh, you'll figure it out.
Unfortunately, that is also a realization you come to. You're like, oh man, you kind of have to let all the morals slip. Kind of sell your soul in a way in some of these situations. It's kind of to make an honest buck, or I don't really know where I was going with that, but to have a good heart, you do usually end up at the bottom kind of thing. Almost like with politics or police officers or any position where there is potential power exchange. Absolute power corrupts absolutely kind of thing. Where the nice people who actually have the good intentions tend to get kind of drowned out by the more Machiavellian personality types, unfortunately. So,
yep, survival of the fittest, I guess.
Yep.
Do you think we're in a simulation?
I do, but for not like this isn't real. Like I can touch you. Like this is real. Like I think that we're having a real experience, but I think, to go back to what I was saying with consciousness, there's a purpose here for the simulation. I think it's to create as much experience as possible from this most finite fractal level to us as humans. And I just think all of these experiences are feeding back to the main stem. Like you look at a tree, fractal geometry, or sacred geometry, fractals, all of these things I feel like tell this story of how interconnected we are, and it's in every taboo religion or whatever saying we're all one, but like kind of why are we all one? How are we all one? And I think that the reason why we are all one but separate entities is because we're all trying to absorb this experience for what it is and feed it back for whatever it like. Maybe if we're feeding a real AI, like the movie The Matrix is a head trip.
So like if when we die, and this is real, maybe dystopian. It's going to piss off a lot of the churchgoers. But like instead of like going to heaven, you're like uploaded to the mother consciousness, and now it's got all those experiences, and there's like how many people? Like 8.9 billion people on the earth that everybody's living a different life and a different experience. And it's like just absorbing all these experiences. And maybe that is an AI. Maybe it is, maybe God is AI. I don't know. Like maybe the universe is God. And
I think Terence McKenna was more over the target on a lot of the theories and stuff that he talked about as far as regarding consciousness and just the evolution of time than anybody with his novelty theory, whereas we're seeing it play out like right now, where so many new things are happening so rapidly, where if you would have told anybody 10 years ago 1 week in the news cycle, they'd be like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's even less than that. I think it's like 24-hour news cycle now.
And he kind of compared it to a birth cycle where, like not all births are successful. So I think that it is a very interesting thing to think about if consciousness is a living entity of some kind. Maybe it is a hybrid of technology or something, but we are in a cycle of birth, evolution, change, and a lot of the excitement and crazy things we're seeing out there are just kind of evidence that the simulation is growing. It's approaching the next download or the next upload or the next stage. So it's a lot to try to
wrap your head around. Yeah.
But I think that yes, the simulation has to play a part in this. It has to be somewhat of a simulation. But I don't think it isn't like we're not real. Like pain is real. All that stuff's real. It's just I think
maybe we exist somewhere real. I don't know. I've had the thought that we are. Our consciousness is being beamed into these bodies, and we are living these experiences. We're seeing, because I've been, like if you go under, or if you're like high or drunk, I mean, you kind of have this weird disassociation from your body. Yep. It's like it disrupts the what are we doing here?
Oh yeah.
Oh shit. Here we go.
Hadron Collider.
So but what I was saying is like it kind of disrupts the connection. I feel like, and and that's why we're not so quick to move and like react to things. And
so there's a really interesting study that was done about consciousness where they did. I think it was they showed stressful videos mixed in with like peaceful ones, and they were noticing the brain reacting. I think it was like 3 to 6 seconds before the stressful video was actually in the visual of the person. So like when that clip came up that was stress, the brain was already reacting 3 to 6 seconds to the stress before it seemingly was visible. So what it was saying is almost like we were talking about editing videos, like there's a video editor in there. The information is coming in, there's a slight delay, but that until we actually we're experiencing it, and they were explaining that was possibly, the feeling of, what is it, whenever not nostalgia.
Like deja vu.
Deja vu, thank you. Yeah, because I've had some hardcore deja vu I can't explain.
100%.
And some of that was interesting to hear, and just kind of, well, maybe there is something to this theater of consciousness where it isn't such a direct, like maybe there is some editing going on. Which falls into, potential other energies and stuff that we're not seeing. I think Joe Rogan called it like the fart theory, where it's like, where if somebody ripped a fart next to you, but you don't have like the ability to smell it, how would you even know it's there? Kind of thing. So what senses do we not have that we can't perceive what's around us? And I think, some people do, and that's why you see people on the spectrum on certain things. But it's all about how our brain processes it. And how we kind of absorb not technology, how we absorb consciousness, how we absorb our reality. I was going off on a tangent there.
No, that's okay, because I think it is interesting how we interact with information and how curious we all are about everything. I mean, there are some people that don't give a shit. They do not care. They're not curious about anything.
Correct.
But for the most part, I think that human beings are pretty curious about life and things. I think that's what were you bringing up the CERN for? Oh, you can talk. She's so afraid to talk. She doesn't want to.
I thought that would be interesting for the whole reality and stuff.
It is. It is very interesting as far as like. I mean, people think now that like they've opened some kind of like portal and that we've like skip dimensions, which also ties into the quantum computer, which somebody said that the way a quantum computer works is it kind of proves the multiverse theory is because it's pulling from every universe, every multiple universe that there is, every alternate reality, and it's pulling everything, and everything, they're all working in concert, and then that's how it can solve the equation that which I don't quite understand. People, they're like, when they try to explain it, they're like, say you have an equation that cannot be solved until, our sun experiences heat death. That's how long it'll take to solve this. But quantum computer can solve it in an instant.
Yeah.
I'm like, what kind of equation are we talking about here?
Yep.
Like, what are we talking about?
Oh, yeah. And I mean, it's
very confusing.
And they probably already have some back channel technology that, of course, isn't consumer facing. And the stuff with CERN is really interesting because, I mean, why do they have the statue of Bathsheba or whatever, that Indian god there? I think of, I don't know what it's a god of, but it's like, just why have that there?
Yeah.
Like, there's been some interesting plays and performances that have also happened, I think, on the grounds. Just really interesting stuff that just makes you have to scratch your head a little bit. Because from my understanding of the whole CERN thing was that they were just trying to smash these atoms together to find the God particle.
Right.
Because they thought if they could keep smashing them together, they could find out the atom that is making it all. But I mean, just from my own layman's understanding of sacred geometry, you can keep smashing them atoms all day, baby. You're gonna keep finding a smaller and smaller atom as long as the technology's there to support it. But it's interesting to think that if they're smashing these atoms to the point where they could have ripped a hole in the timeline,
right,
or allowed another parallel universe to have some type of characters come in, or at least bleed the timelines together in some strange way, because time itself is just wild theory to even think about in itself, like time travel being possible, things of that nature.
Do you think we've made time travel?
I don't know, man. I really don't.
A lot of people think that these aliens that we're seeing are time travelers. They're us from the future.
That was, I think, Terrence McKenna's big theory. He thought that at the moment of time travel becoming a thing, all of these time travelers would arrive to witness this moment.
Because you can only go back to the moment it was created.
Correct. So everybody would want to witness this moment. So the moment it happens, it would be a moment where you see all these UFOs and stuff around, or all the, it would be wild. He had a really cool, interesting take on it. But this is also a man who did more psychedelics than a lot of other people and mixed things that could only give you a unique human experience. And he kind of, in his books that I listened to, because he has such a weird voice inflection, I listened to some of his audio books, and some of the things that him and his brother experienced, you can't discount him. Life is a really weird thing, and you can't just discount him or write him off because he was doing psychedelic drugs.
Right.
Some of this
and
stuff
I think
is just wild.
I think Dennis he's actually qualified to talk about this stuff more than Terrence, because he's gone to school to study these things.
He's a professor of
right. So he can kind of articulate it a little better. So listening to him is he follows in his brother's footsteps, but he can explain it in a better way. I mean, I've seen him I think Dennis went on Joe Rogan, but
yeah, he's a cool cat. They had some crazy experience in the Amazon off of mushrooms and stuff, where he had he went into a shamanic, where they just lost him essentially.
Oh, yeah. Well, and that's another thing. It's who's to say these hallucinations aren't real? Yeah. Who's to say?
Who's to say they aren't just biological technology to tap into that section of reality?
Right.
Because I've done psychedelics, and I've had situations where it felt like I was in a room that they felt like a projection of sorts. Just weird, eerie feelings like we're being watched in a sense, or it just feels like we're on a stage in a weird way. Maybe that was the acid, but
yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. Maybe it opened up that like you had said earlier, there's some people that have senses that kept those senses. We've evolved away from those senses because our human biology said you don't need those anymore.
Yep.
So but there are some people that still carry those senses that are extra, they can see things that we can't see.
Like the people in the Amazon that discovered how to make DMT because they said their ancestors told them to chew on these leaves.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And they said, when they asked, they said, well, the plants taught us. The plants told us how to do it. And I think ultimately they watched a lot of animals. They would chew these things, and the big cats they'd watch, and it's like catnip to them, kind of.
There's a famous artist. I wish I knew his name, but I found him through Terrence. That painted a lot of ayahuasca experiences.
I know who you're talking about.
And there's always these color beams coming out, and Terrence has an interesting interaction that he was talking about in one of his books, where he was in a tribal thing. They had just taken all of the, I think, ayahuasca, I believe, and they were sitting around the tent singing, and he just kept seeing these purple waves coming out, and it was melding and mixing with each other, and everybody's harmony was dancing with each other in this energetic way. And I guess the son of the tribe leader said something or did something, and the guy looked at him and just kind of stared and shot this red lightning bolt at him, and it knocked him back.
What?
And Terrence was like, what did I just see? But it's just so interesting that then you have other people who have had shared experiences, and then you have artists who come to the play to bring this stuff to life, and they're just these color beams coming out of everything, just back to how much we don't know and how much we can't perceive, and how little of reality we are experiencing. Because I don't think we'd probably explode into a million pieces if we just experience reality at its raw form.
Oh, we couldn't handle it. I mean, it's sort of like internet depression, like when there's too much information coming at us all at once, and we weren't built for that, and people get depressed. It messes people up pretty bad. So I mean, yeah, we can't experience. If we were like bombarded with the actual meaning of life, we would probably explode.
Yeah, and that's why maybe there is that 3 to 6 second delay in like what's happening there. What is it filtering out to give us this experience, and why are we getting this version of reality? It's just very rabbit holes to go deep on that I am not certified to, but I just follow my gut.
Dude, when you're going down a rabbit hole, you don't need certification. I am not certified for shit, and I go down lots of rabbit holes.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
But like when you said psychedelics, like I like mushrooms, mushrooms can live in a vacuum. Who's to say, and how do we know that they didn't come here on like an asteroid or something, or they weren't seeded here, for us so that we can communicate with other beings, and whether that's God or whether it's aliens, or the Anunnaki, whatever it is, whatever you want to put a name on it.
I've went on some deep rabbit holes with Zachariah Sitchin.
Yeah.
I went down to so many rabbit holes. I just was like, you know what? I'm just going to
because you can lose your life going down those rabbit holes.
Ignorance is bliss in a lot
of
sense. Yeah.
But we're still curious. We still want to know.
Oh yeah.
And I think that that's always going to be good. It's when we stop being curious, and I think those are the people that aren't curious, that don't care where we come from, why we're here. I think those are the people that are very troubled, and those are the ones that kind of instigate a lot of the negativity in the world.
Yeah.
But we have to have, unfortunately, it would be great to live in a world without war, without fighting, where everybody just like peace and love every day. Could you imagine how boring that would be? And you can't appreciate the good without the bad.
And when you have that duality of experience, that's what I think is pushing the evolution of consciousness, and why things don't make sense, where like why does good thing or bad things happen to great people, kind of thing. It's just, this is the nature of this experience. There is such a duality to it, and out of that duality, I think it has something to do with our evolution as a species, as consciousness, as something that's pushing us to the next level. Of course, I can't comprehend it, but that one experience that I always go back to is just like, that felt like it came from somewhere outside of me. It felt really weird. But it felt like I felt more conviction in the fact that sounded more a better explanation of reality or consciousness than I've heard in a long time. So, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. There's so much to think about, but I mean, I think with any bad experience, people, like you said, bad things happen to good people. And I think it's because so we can appreciate when the good happens. You've got to have that, that dichotomy of good and evil. And it's weird to me that some people just shut down when the bad thing happens, instead of going, oh, I should learn from that. That's life in the universe telling me, don't do this thing, whatever it is.
Yeah, and I think something that's always been fascinating to me is like manifestation and stuff too, where it's
like
not
The Secret.
Not like The Secret, but like I think that's what popularized that whole entire thing with everybody. But it's the ability of you to kind of take control of your destiny, and you can take it down to the depths of depression and into really bad places, or you can realize like you can have some effect on it. Like you can change it. You can do something like get a job at Jiffy Lube and work your ass into the dirt, and give you some new experience and perspective, so you can level up to the next thing.
Right.
So,
yeah. I mean, we all have to do what we have to do to survive, to keep these, meat vehicles alive, and the meat vehicles of those that we love around us, And no, I don't think we'll ever have an answer unless, AI comes out and says, I am God, by the way, and here is why you're doing what you're doing.
And I think if we had universal basic income and let's just say everything was peachy, there was no utopian situation on AI, I think that you would see a lot of people who lose purpose. And because you got to have something, like maybe sitting around all day doing nothing sounds great to some people, but I think for a majority of society, people need a challenge. They need to feel like they're worth something. And when you take that away from them, like whenever you take away, like let's say somebody who really prides themselves in delivery driving or mechanic job or something, and you take that job away from them, I think you're going to see a lot of really confused people who have nowhere to turn.
We're going to all have gladiators again.
Yeah.
We're just going to have coliseums with people killing each other.
And that's why I think that's why one of the biggest skills to learn is how to learn how to rebuild yourself and understand, like, just because this section of or season of life ended, like there's still some talent, there's still some interest, there's still something that you can provide and get yourself into and build yourself back up. So.
Well, we've kind of done it as a society before where, things got bleak.
Yeah.
And, and then we created new jobs during that bleak period and we all started doing this thing. And then when that was all over and things got better, those jobs kind of went away and we shifted to a new thing. So I think we're always going to evolve into something new. It's just going to look different. And to your point, yeah, you got to be ready for change. Like old guys like me, I don't hate change as long as it's good change.
Yeah.
If it's bad change and it doesn't make logical sense, like I feel like I was a Vulcan in my past life. I'm sure they really exist. But if things aren't logical to me, I have a hard time processing them. And I have a hard time accepting them. But I'm really good. I love change. I love it. If it's like I said, if it's for the betterment or it's going to push us forward as a company or as a person or as a brand or whatever you want to call it, whatever was pushing forward. But, if it's like change that's just like you question and you're like, well, okay, I see so many flaws in this change. I don't really like it, and I think there's going to be some people that are going to feel the rub.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that if we get to a point where we have UBI, I don't think that's going to be good. I think that,
No.
I think that's not the answer.
No.
I know they've looked into it, and there's a lot of people that are pushing it, and I'm like, we kind of saw with COVID.
Like universal food stamps, it doesn't sound good. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't want to rely on our government to live my life. Because then they have all of the control.
Yeah, exactly. Then they just shut it off when you run a red light.
Right. You bump some dude, flick them off. I'm flicking people off all the time. I ride a motorcycle. Okay?
In Jacksonville, that's bold.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm on a bike. If you try to hit me, I'm like, fuck you. But yeah, so it's like, I would be poor and destitute somewhere underneath a bridge because the overlords decided that I wasn't a good fit for society, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't want to be doom and gloom about it either. But there's a lot that kind of makes you think about that. You got to think about the good with the bad.
Yeah, you definitely do. You definitely do. Well, there's an interesting trend that I saw recently. It doesn't have anything to do with AI.
That's fine.
I thought it'd be interesting to share. So it was, I think it was in Korea. They're called like dopamine shopping websites. So not real money, not real products, but you shop it just like you would normally shop. So it's like fake shopping, like play shopping.
Okay.
But it's like
nothing's going to actually get delivered and none of the money is coming out of your account.
Correct. But you click, you add the items to your cart, you check out the cart, but no items are exchanged. But apparently like it's huge just so people get the shopping fix.
That would be good for me. But I would be sad and then buy real stuff.
Right.
Like they had like turtle giraffes, you know what I mean? Or like half crispy chicken, like a bunch of funny gag items. But I also thought that'd be kind of like a fun like website to create.
It would be. It would be. And to her point, bro, like, I mean, you buy some stuff and then you're like, oh, I'm not actually getting it. So you get that kind of rush of clicking the buttons, but then you're like, where's the thing? I want the thing.
Yep.
So then you go on Amazon and buy more shit.
But I thought it was interesting, like kind of where we're at in society. We have fake shopping websites where people just need it for a dopamine fix.
100%. I mean, we have Sims, dude. What are you talking about? Like, we've got people that are playing video games, how to live life. And then what's even funnier is there's people that film themselves doing it, and then there's people that watch people that film themselves pretending to live life on a video game.
There's theories because you can make your own Sims play the Sims in the game.
Oh
and
my
so it's
God.
like, what if you're
Oh my
being
God.
played to play the Sims in a game?
I don't have my diamond. I don't have that little thing
Yeah.
above my head.
Well, they probably don't see 'em.
Funny though, because at my current job, we had to do like an AI fishing like training thing. And
Yeah.
It was a video course, and it pops up, and it's two guys at a podcast, and I'm like looking at it, and they're like talking about AI and fishing, and I'm like, the audio sounds flat, everybody's hair's shiny, and I finally like look at the white dude, and I'm like, oh my God,
This is all AI.
This is an AI podcast teaching me about AI phishing email scams. I literally had to pause it and just like take a breath. And
Yeah.
I was like, this is it. This is where we're at.
Yeah.
Like, oh my goodness.
Did you go to the boss and say, maybe there's a problem?
I was just like, I don't know if you've noticed, but the AI training we have is getting taught to us by AI generated. There's like literally AI generated podcasters teaching me about AI generated.
Yeah, but who
stuff.
better to tell you about the phishing scams?
You know what? I didn't think about it like that, so I should be thankful for the training.
Right. Yeah, it knows because it does it. It's like, listen, guy, I've done this my whole life. How long have you been alive? 2 months.
But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. Like,
That's
was a fun
crazy.
AI head trip that I had recently. I was like, okay, well, this is fun.
Yeah, it's getting weird. Like I said, the part for me that's weird is just not being able to assess what's real and what's not real, because it is starting to get a little like they figured out the problem with the like 8 fingers on one hand.
Oh, yeah.
You know, things like that. So I mean, it's getting. And the weird audio, you know, because it sounds like you're talking, like they're talking through a phone or something.
Yeah, it sounds very two-dimensional. It doesn't
Yes.
sound like there's any like depth to it. It sounds super flat.
Right.
Like, so it's always like a tip-off to me. But
Yep.
sometimes my wife will show me videos. She's like, oh my God, look at this video. I'm like, babe, it's fake. She's like, God, again, got me again. But yeah, even my parents too. They're like, oh my, Ryan, I saw this thing on like fake.
Yep.
I saw it too.
Well, it's like I was telling you earlier, like, you know, her aunt loves to post shit. Sorry, I'm not going to call you out by name, but she loves to post things on Facebook about like anti-Trump and this and that. And I'm like, have you ever, I just want to ask her one day and be like, hey, have you ever like clicked on the link to go to the page of what posted this and then dig deep and dig and dig? Because you can go in and dig and dig and dig, and you will finally find out that it's fake.
like
It's
a parody article, or the last line in the article is
yeah.
just
And it's just like it's like followed by all these people, but then you look at the followers and they're all fake. And then it's like, but it makes it look like a reputable page. And then you look at the article and you start seeing things about the article and you're like, wait, and then okay, let me research this topic. Nope, that's not true at all. That's not true.
Before you
at
know,
all.
like 45 minutes of your life is wasted.
Wasted.
chasing down,
Wasted,
just
but-
to confirm if it's real or not.
Yeah, and then
100%.
of course I never
I've been
say
there.
anything.
Yeah.
You know, I've done that before with her and other people that just randomly they see something and then they're like, "Oh, share it," you know, and I'm like, "Let me just see," and then I waste the 45 minutes and then I never say anything. I'm like, "Listen," you know, because they're not going to listen to you either way.
Yeah, because I've of course done that and been like, wait, let me check that. I'm like, let me go back and delete it because that's not real whatsoever.
Right.
I got
Yeah.
I got headline got.
Is that a baby spider?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I got it.
You have a comment from Tristan. He said, "Don't get left behind, folks. Technology will always evolve, and humans have to evolve with it."
That's true.
He is true. Very
Yeah,
right.
he
Very
like I
right.
said, he does work for movies and producers and stuff. He does a lot of editing stuff. They've had him use the AI to like fill in scenes and
Oh,
certain
yeah.
things, and he's really proficient with it. You know, so I mean, he does use that as a tool.
And the tool in the hands of a professional, like, will always like push the craft. Like, same here. Like, I felt like I was using AIs in ways that were really enhancing things that I was doing, but it got to the point where I just relied too heavily on it, and I had to admit, like, yo, I was like, I had to refire my idea engines back up and go back to just sketching things on paper and go analog and figure out where AI then came into the process. Where for a while I was really obsessed with just developing these processes. So ghost sketching, which is just like a glorified AI tracing method, where I was using it to build reference images, and then I'd build my actual illustration on
Right.
top of it, as opposed to collecting images on Google for hours and splicing them together. And then I did something called Creative GPS that was at least helping me align with the client's vision in a way where it wasn't my ego coming in thinking that this was going to be cool. I would take their brief, their notes, whatever, and put it through an AI to help align us on what directions to take. So before I spent a bunch of hours like roughing out stuff, like we could at least have that conversation about what idea, style, direction, put together mood boards and stuff that were never a part of the final design, but it helped point us in the right direction and align as like creator and a client. And I found that really nice, because then I could go out and then I would take like real life inspiration, like for a music poster that I did last year for the Riverside Avondale tour. Went out and just took pictures of Riverside and like different cool, quirky pieces of architecture and signs that were hand painted. And then I brought those back and like was able to make mood boards, riff off of them, and create the pieces to the puzzle that I assembled into the poster. And it was a fun way to actually take real life inspiration, put it through AI, have it kind of compose it and spit out some more tangible nuggets that could be used as pieces to the final puzzle. But at the end of the day, I think I just started relying on it too much, and creating felt empty. So getting my hands dirty again and starting back from where I'm started is where I'm at right now.
I think there's always going to be a need for analog.
Yes.
I think people that like have Teslas somewhere down inside their bodies, they crave a stick shift. They want to get into a Porsche with a stick shift and a clutch.
Have you ever driven a Tesla before?
No.
I have once, and it was actually pretty rad. The
I'm
autopilot
sure.
was crazy, and the way it stops and speeds up was pretty cool. So I had to stop hating a little bit, because it was actually kind of cool. But I personally, I don't like the idea of the electric car.
I've seen videos. I mean, I know there was one recently that I don't know if it was you or somebody was showing me. It might have been Alana, but one of the, I don't know if it was a Tesla. It was some kind of automated driving car. Just took off at full speed and ran into a house and killed some old lady.
Oh yeah, I saw that recently.
Yeah,
and it was, they came out and admitted, it had to do with the self-auto driving system malfunctioned. Which, I mean, they're going to have cars. So even at Jiffy Lube, working at Jiffy Lube, I thought it was super interesting.
It's on your shoulder.
What's up, dude? What's up, dude?
That little guy, he likes you.
What up, dude? Just don't crawl in my ear.
No, you're covered.
But what I found was interesting is, as the cars are getting newer, they're making them harder and harder to work on.
Right.
Like they don't want you working on your own car anymore.
Right.
Like I think even BMW invented this screw that you specifically need their bit to use the screw, and I'm like,
some even just the tires. You can't even change your tire because
Yep. So it was just interesting to see, like, these cars are getting newer and newer, but I don't think they're better. They're just more control.
Yeah, we haven't really done much in the way of the combustible engine, and the combustion engine really. Like,
I'm into flying cars big time. Like the drone flying cars, I think that those...
Are they coming? Or I've seen
future.
some videos. I don't know if it's AI or whatever, but they look like literal drones, but you can drive in them.
I do. I think they're coming, and I think...
God, we already suck on the ground. I can imagine flying in a car.
And that's where I think I've had this vision. I always like to just let my mind wander, and I think that if there's an opportunity, I'm sure somebody's already working on it. But like sky roads, like we have roads on the ground. It's not like we can go anywhere else. Like they're very well mapped out. I feel like there's going to be a roadmap to the sky. Somebody's going to develop that, be in control of it. That's what all of the flying cars are going to, you're going to have to follow this highway. Because right now there's no regulation. They can fly wherever they want. Right. Could fly and hit an airplane by accident or something. So I think until there's regulation, then they'll probably roll it out big time. But I think for now you'll probably see automated taxis. I think they're doing it in Miami. I've been following a couple companies that are super cool, and it just is cool to see how fast that's developing.
I think the only way those flying vehicles for normies like me and you, the only way that's going to work is, and it's going to be astronomical. We're not going to be able to pay for it. We're not going to afford it. Not until it's that's all there is. And then it'll start to get a little more affordable. But when the minimum wage is, like $200 an hour, because that's where inflation is. but I feel like the only way it's going to work is if it like you get up into a certain zone and then it like tractor beam and then it just pulls you to your destination. Yeah. And everybody just kind of follows the same path, and you get there when you get there. But I think that'll cause less accidents. There will be less incidents unless something happens with the programming and it gets a little weird.
Yep, and of course with anything that's new and running updates that we see even in like a company's billing software, you have to redo the system, and all of a sudden, it hijacks everybody's information. So
nah, I'm good. Yeah. I like to feel like that I have the control, of the vehicle myself.
Me too, but from what I've been hearing with people who have younger kids and they're coming up, like they don't want to drive.
No.
Have you heard something similar?
Yeah, the Uber craze. Yeah, it's like everybody would rather Uber rather than having their own car and having a driver's license.
Which is
I know people.
Which is crazy because, like, at least growing up, I'm sure
couldn't wait to drive.
It was like that was
a rite of passage.
Rite of passage. That was like when that was the sign of independence. You could go wherever you wanted, and it's crazy to think that kids don't want that. They want that responsibility to drive. So something like flying cars.
Spit it out. Say what you were going to say. Because you seemed like you were chiming up. You didn't want to have that rite of passage? You didn't want to have that?
Oh, no, I did.
Oh, okay.
I did. But I agree that's happening.
I know people that are a few years older than her that just would rather Uber everywhere.
That's just crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, I actually, I don't see it as a problem with like the going auto insurance rates and everything, especially in Florida.
Now, what I don't understand is like those Waymo's things.
Oh yeah,
they still cost what a regular Uber costs. There's no driver. Why am I paying the same amount? Like it should be cheap.
That would be lots of trust. Maybe I have too much trust issues
I do.
For that.
I do. But, eventually we're going to get to where everybody's just like, oh, we've got to go to... You either have... and you have a vehicle, a combustion vehicle for, like, recreation. But anywhere else, you just get in your car and then you just sit down and it takes you where you're going.
It's like resisting texting for the longest time, and then finally, like... That's what you do.
Right. Yeah.
You're like, no, I'd rather call somebody.
Yeah.
I'd pick up the phone and I'd call people.
Right.
Actually,
it's just easy.
Really,
yeah.
really
and I was
easy.
the same way. I was like, I'd rather talk to you than because I can say everything I need to say and then just be done.
Yep.
And I want to hear your voice.
No,
and then it got to the point where you're like, okay, we spend way too much time talking. It's just easier for me to shoot you a text.
Yep. The Waymo is going to be the new texting,
right.
Where us boomers are going to have to figure
well, yeah,
to use them and enjoy them.
I talk about this shit all the time with Tristan and a lot of other guests. It's like I grew up, and you probably did too. We were connected to it. We were tethered to a wall, or you had to stop somewhere and pick up a fucking payphone and put quarters in there to talk to somebody.
Oh yeah.
And now it's not just your phone. Now it's like I can produce shit. I can like look shit up. I mean, I can order food. I can eat with this. Like everything I need is right here. If I didn't have anything on me and all I had was a charged up phone, I'm gonna be okay. But if I leave this bitch at home, oh boy,
yeah,
I feel lost.
So what if, I'm just curious, so what if they were able to put something like the phone like in your glasses, and it wasn't like a chunky... Oh,
now you're talking of, okay.
You know what I mean? It wasn't a chunky thing, so all these wearables people are actually
Have you seen the new Meta thing?
Yes.
So there was a video that he just put out, Zuckerberg.
I've seen a couple of them.
He puts them on, and it's now augmented reality in your glasses. And it's like he's walking around, his texts are popping up. He can just speak it and it will respond or show the text or go away, play my music. Show like he's looking at somebody, it popped their name up. I'm like...
And as that gets lighter and more wearable, I think that you're going to see a lot of people using stuff
What about
like
the implants?
Boy, I tell you, I know that there's probably lots of people who would line up to do that. But then I think it's interesting because that's where we get into the breakaway society type of situation. Because if it does give you like God intelligence type of thing, you either get one or you don't.
And it's going to start with the haves. They're going to get it.
Like right now, it sounds super gnarly. Like they like bore out like a
quarter
size thing in your skull, like which
and stick wires into the gray matter of your brain.
Other than me being blind, not being able to walk, or having some like significant physical impairment, I couldn't see doing that.
Right.
But that's what, I mean, obviously that's where you're seeing people using those type of things who maybe
Currently.
are quadriplegics,
Yes.
or certain things like that, where they can at least play the video game, communicate with people, like interact with society again.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to see that, of course, but then when does it become like a designer
Super
endorsement, like
soldiers.
a little add-on, or yeah, like you said, like a super soldier, like, yeah, okay, we're going to put this in your program is to be like Jason Bourne.
Yep. Yep, you become an like a bot targeting system. Like the first guy that they installed it in, he was a quadriplegic. I don't know if you ever heard him talk or watched.
I may have seen it. I don't know exactly, but I know I've seen a couple cases, or at least something similar. I don't know the exact guy, but I've seen it a couple times.
So he was, of course, paralyzed from the neck down, and he had to he loved to play video games like Call of Duty and shooting games and stuff. And he was one of the first people to get it, and he said it took a while to like understand, and like you had to like teach. He's like, it's like if you have a stroke and you lose the feeling in your arm, and then you have to work to get that back, that feeling back, and you have to train it to work right. He's like, and so literally, he's like, you move your hands and your mouth and your eyeballs without even thinking about it now. He's like, I've had this thing inside of me now, and it's literally like I could think about moving my arm, and it'll do another thing. So I can literally just envision myself like playing with a controller, and it does exactly what I want it to do. And he said it got to the point where anything I looked at on the screen was what I shot at. It was like an aimbot.
Dang.
In a computer system. And he's like, I got so fucking good, people didn't want to play with me no more. I couldn't, and obviously he couldn't, because the question came up, could you enter tournaments? And he's like, I can't, because legally I'm basically an aimbot.
So man, I'm getting chills right now because I'm thinking about, let's just say, like, even if it's not video games, maybe it's like you're saying, somebody who doesn't have an impairment, but then what does talent become when you can get this chip and all of a sudden you can paint as good as Leonardo da Vinci,
right.
or you can buy talent, or you can buy the upgrade to be a savant at something, and then I think that just makes rare natural human talent even more
obsolete,
or even valuable to some people. So it's like right now may be an interesting time for anybody who does have a natural talent to share that with the world before people can buy a Tesla chip and put it in their head and be just a savant at something.
Become the art.
Playing piano or whatever it is. Like, it's interesting. Just my mind started wandering there. And I'm like, oh my God.
So are you leaning more towards I might get the chip?
Well, then that becomes like, okay, how maybe it's a dime size.
Right. And eventually it will. Eventually it'll be like an inoculation, and now it's just integrated into your system.
Correct. They have drones flying around whether you like it or not, shooting little microscopic implants into you.
I don't know if it'll go. I mean, I hope it doesn't go that far. Although they did force everyone to take the vaccine during COVID. Yeah. So they're quite possibly.
If they could have loaded that up in a drone shooting dart, they would have and inoculated everybody.
Well, there's going to be those conspiracy theorists that are like, those trails in the sky, man. Those, they're seeding us with these bots and these like nano organisms and shit. Which. I mean, it could be true. Could be.
Just the idea of nanotech is insane.
It is.
Like you could swallow. I think I saw something recently. It was like you swallow a pill and this pill goes throughout your body and like eliminates all the cancer cells or whatever in your body. Like what an amazing thing that would be.
Right. Or what a terrible thing. Because it's all based on who has the technology in their hands.
Correct.
Some people could use it for good, and of course, there's going to be people that do use it for bad.
Oh yeah,
like the dude what was his name? Oppenheimer. It's a real popular movie now, but like I think people didn't understand just what the creator of that shit thought about. He like quoted the Bhagavad Gita. He's like, "I become death."
Oh wow.
Destroyer of worlds. When he saw the first nuclear bomb go off, he's like, "This is not good."
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. And he's the one that invented this shit.
Yeah, I mean, in the pursuit of pushing technology and science.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy that something that could that could give us like free, clean energy can also destroy the world.
Yeah, it could absolutely be the demise of us. And I think that that's the wildest, like, tension that we have right now is just trying to figure out what that story is going to be, because everybody has an opinion on it. And I've listened to so many that I can only look from my own perspective and see limitations and potential nightmares. So,
yeah. It's like I have a hammer. I could either build a house or hit myself in the dick with it. You know?
Yes.
I'm hoping that it's the house.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, you can always hope that there's going to be good people wielding these things and that they do good with them. But the reality is that.
Like what we were earlier saying was like the Machiavellian types
right.
usually end up, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So even if a good-hearted person gets in there, who knows what morals might change for them. In the pursuit of whatever that goal is.
Well, and how much power do they really have? Like, let's think about like our presidency. Like here in America, where they're like 4 years, or maybe 8, and then let's swap them out for a new guy. When all the system, everybody that's working the system, all the puppeteers, they stay for years.
Yes, entrenched.
Right. So they're there, and like you're like the new guy, and you're coming in, and they're like, whatever ideals you had, you can forget about it. We run shit. You're just a fucking figure. You're just up here, to be the face of us.
Yep.
And you're also the patsy, because if anything goes wrong, it's on you. It's on you, not us. No one's ever going to look at us.
Yeah, we're not the people anyone's looking at.
Except for when the internet came around.
Oh, yeah, they probably had no idea.
No idea. They're the ones that are screaming for regulation on the internet more than anybody, but you can't regulate the internet. You cannot do that.
No, you can't.
You just can't.
No. And like even if you delete it, they have those like time back machines where you can go back and find certain things on the internet. Delete it all you want.
The internet sleuths are the best. I love them.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Thank God for them, because there's a lot of shit that gets deleted.
Thanks guys.
You know what I mean?
Guys for
like
digging all that stuff up, because I certainly don't have the time. But we need it. We need it.
We do need it, because we do need to know. And it's funny that these politicians, and it's going to take a couple of centuries, I guess, to cycle through a lot of them. But they get in there and they're like they're still operating like, it's the 50s. Like, no. We can see everything that you're doing.
Yes.
You do realize that, right? Like everybody's got a video camera in their pocket. You just be very careful about what you say these days.
And that video or that thing in our pocket is also simultaneously, like we've talked about several
recording
times,
us.
Not recording us, but also feeding us stuff that's making us question our own reality to the point where it comes with anything you see, you really don't have a reaction like you used to. But I mean, so 1984, I think I read that audio book, and I remember having my phone in my hand and just being like, let me put this down. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's creepy.
Oh yeah.
Creep you out fast, man. What's your, I don't know, I guess we've kind of covered that. I was going to ask you what your biggest fear in society would be moving forward, whether it's AI or anything.
So what I'm seeing is very much aligns with whatever the Mouse Utopia experiment is. If you've never heard about it.
Is that the one where they give them crack? Or something, or
they just essentially set up this experiment where they give these mice utopia, like all the food you could ever want, the living space, activities, and at first it's great, but essentially devolves into society starting to break down. One of the interesting things that I think can align with this whole looks maxing thing that we're seeing is in this experiment, these mice, they called them the pretty ones, and it was predominantly male mice who would just spend all day grooming themselves and trying to maximize the way that they look. And then it got to the point where these male mice, who were called the pretty ones, started hunting out the more nuclear family mice who were having like just normal things, because this chaos would start erupting where the pretty ones and these other factions of the mice would start attacking all the people who were like doing the normal societal things. So let's say like the nuclear family, all the things that were more traditional when we're seeing this new generation come up and have all these new ideas for what society should be. So all this chaos is going on, all these mice are losing their lives, are getting killed off by the pretty ones and the rebels of society. Some mice are hiding underground, and they can only stay there for so long before they get found out and they get destroyed. And then it just gets to the point where that faction of mice then turns on themselves, and everybody kills each other.
Right.
Not saying that that's what would happen here, but it is interesting to see parallels where you're seeing this weird obsession with looks maxing, and you have people doing these surgeries and stuff, and you're like, your body's still growing. You know what I mean? You're still like
developing.
You're still developing as a human, and you're hyper focusing on these things that, like, the concept I understand, but at the same time, I see it aligned perfectly with this Mouse Utopia experiment, where they ran this experiment, I think 20 or 30 times until they said, like, maybe even been more, but until they said, like, all right, we're done, because the same thing happened over and over and over again.
Really?
Where just this normal, almost seemingly natural instinct of these mice happened over and over again in this experiment, which ended the whole entire thing. So they gave the mice the utopia. They gave them everything that they could have wanted, food, whatever, but then it just...
Somebody found a way to dick it up.
Yep. Everybody started, I think all the mice started getting gay and having gay partners and stuff, and stopped doing the nuclear family thing, which then stopped the reproduction cycle of the mice, and then, of course, then created the societal breakdown between those two factions of society, and it just became a clashing point where they...
Do you think we're doing that now in this society?
I think we are, but in a more sophisticated way. Like, we're not so primal as of yet, because we still have the the pillars of like security. We have repercussions that you can't just go out and start slaughtering people. We have police. You're going to get put in jail type of thing. But if we all saw that breakdown, I don't see what is going to stop everybody. And it's going to be interesting to see if there was ever some type of break in the chain of convenience, whether it be the internet, food, anything like that, because people have a very light skin for just being uncomfortable or having things go wrong. Let's just say, you get a little minor fender bender or something that day, like the world has ended. You shut off the internet, for some people, like, they might lose their damn minds.
Yep.
So it would be interesting to see. I don't think that we'll get there. I think it'll take a lot to get us to a point where we are breaking down to the point of slaughtering each other.
I think
the Mouse Utopia experiment.
You shut the United States power off for I don't think it would take less than a week.
I don't think so.
In a week, there would be a lot of dead people.
I agree. I mean, even back in the day when the hurricanes hit Florida and we didn't have power for like a week or so, society was a little different then. It wasn't as contentious. Everybody helped out each other. People figured it out. But I feel like now it's like people probably raid the next door neighbor if they knew that they had propane to cook their food.
I think it'll start with that, and then when it gets more difficult, and then as the people that are helping other people, they start realizing that, hey, I'm using my resources and I'm not going to be able to live. Okay, and then they become the ones with power, or they get whacked and somebody else takes their stuff, we're primal assholes. I mean, just literally, we think we're so sophisticated. And technically on the surface, because of all the cool shit we have, we are probably one of the most sophisticated societies that, has ever been seen. Just like the human experience right now.
Yeah.
And I don't think we're emotionally sophisticated, but I think we would immediately devolve into our baser instincts.
Yes.
And that's the scariest part for me, and all it'll take is you just piss the wrong person off, or we have like a big enough solar flare from the sun, to just wipe us all out, wipe all the power out. It's like a giant what is that, EMP?
EMP, yeah.
Yeah. And then none of this is going to happen.
No, not at all.
Credit cards, done. Cell phones, done.
It's hard to imagine everybody filing an orderly line at the grocery store if there were to be something like that happening.
It ain't happening.
So that's why I think we're not far off from it. We're probably closer than we ever have been as far as like a breaking point in society, because you just see I mean, you just see so much crazy stuff happening.
Yeah.
And whether that is, of course, propagandized or not, it does appear that, things just keep escalating and new novel situations keep arising that keep kind of turning up the temperature. And I just don't see that temperature getting turned back down.
Right.
And I think that the only solace that I kind of take of it all is that it is a part of this journey of consciousness or whatever this is, that this is inevitable. This is inevitable. I'm trying to just enjoy the ride as much as I can and do what I can as just a creative to express myself and kind of share my human experience. But yeah, I hope that I don't live long enough to see something bad happen.
Right.
But of course, I'm also still prepared. I'm super prepared.
Yeah, you got to be. You have to be.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's unfortunate, but you do have to be prepared, But I think also I think humans need to stop taking the 3,000-foot view. Sometimes it's good to expand that view so you can really look at what you're doing. But when you got to keep it closer to the vest and just pay attention to what's going on in your life. And I think a lot of people are starting to get to that point where, oh, you're good, man. If you take that.
Dang, I had it on Do Not Disturb and it still got text
coming
through.
Well, that might be an emergency.
It's wifey. It's 5 o'clock. She's probably making sure you didn't rape or murder me.
Oh, not yet. That comes later. All she's got to do is turn on YouTube. But no, we'll do that afterwards.
Sweet.
No, but fuck. It's all right. I lost. No, yeah, but so anyways, you do have to bring it in and dial it in, and just focus on what you're doing. But I think they put stuff in front of us. I say they whenever people say they, they're like, who's they?
The algorithm monsters.
The algorithm, the government, the people in charge, the secret societies that, JFK wanted to get rid of. And then they got rid of him. So, they're pretty thick,
Yes.
But I think they put things in front of us that distract us a lot from all the real important stuff. I think that's they just disclosed all those alien videos. I don't know if you saw those.
Yeah, it's just wild.
Her and I went through on the podcast a bunch of them, and we were just like, the fuck is that?
Yeah,
that's nothing. I don't see shit.
Yeah.
It's like an infrared or like a heat video or something. And why don't you show me some real footage, dog?
And then that new movie came out, Contact, or that new alien movie that came out.
Oh, is there a new one?
Yeah, there's a new one. I want to see it. I haven't seen it yet.
This is how out of it I am. Yeah. I don't know.
It looks good. It's like a news anchor that suddenly breaks out in alien jargon speak.
Oh,
was it Spielberg?
I hope it's not called Contact, because if it is, that's the third movie called Contact.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. There is an original one for sure. I forgot what it was called.
I've seen the previews though.
Yeah, it looked pretty sweet.
Yeah,
it looked pretty sweet.
Yeah,
all previews of movies.
Probably just cool. A distraction, or they're testing it out. Disclosure Day.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's just kind of getting us ready.
Yeah, the pre-programming.
Yeah,
it's kind of hard to deny that, especially with so many weird examples throughout history that kind of have ties to seemingly things being pre-programmed.
Yeah,
for
sure, man. Well, listen, I know. I mean, you said, oh shit, it is 5 o'clock. We've been going for a hot minute. I wasn't even paying attention.
Neither was I, man.
Good. That's how much I love this conversation.
Yeah, hell yeah, man.
But I'll let you get out of here. I know you got to get back to the family, and I don't want to keep you any longer than you need to be away from them. So I apologize. He's coming home.
It's all good. It's all good.
Unraped.
we might even have a kid-free date night tonight. So
really? Yeah, then we really got to get you home so you guys can get that going.
Yeah.
But so I don't know if you want to shout out your pages or your social medias and stuff like that, but if you want to, please go forth, and I'll put those in the description as well if you want me to.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, it's always every bit helps, right?
Yeah, of course. And I'm just experimenting and exploring more as far as me as a creative on Housa Creates. HOUSA Creates. Check me out. Also, housacreative.com. Look forward to new stuff coming up in the future.
Good man. Good stuff. I love all of it. And I thank you so much for giving me your time today. And
it was a pleasure, man.
This was an enlightening conversation.
Heck yeah.
What are you I was like, what are you showing me now? It's the page. It wasn't as scary as I thought it would be. I really thought it would be a little more, because it can be but at least you're a sweetheart, and you're like, I don't want to get too dystopian. So
exactly, there's enough to freak everybody out in the world, and if there's enough rabbit holes to go down there,
you can do that on your own, folks. But I do thank you, and anytime you ever want to just come back and bullshit with me, dude, you're always welcome.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you sit down and chat with me, and again, thank you.
Of course.
And thank you for watching, guys. Make sure you're going and following House of Creates, and follow us, subscribe. I hate to ask for that. It's like one of the weirdest things is like,
follow the damn podcast, guys.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing? If you're listening right now and haven't smashed that subscribe or follow button, you need to, man.
Yeah. It's like you feel like the what is that Oliver Twist when you're like, please, sir, may I have some more? Please subscribe. But do any of the things, all the things, and just do it with love. That's all I ask. And try to be the good and not the bad, but, we got to have it all. So,
amen.
We'll see you next week. Bye.
Later. That was great, man.
Heck yeah.